Hey everyone, you're listening to the official podcast of 4PlayerNetwork.com. Check us out at that address for everything you need to know about our community, monthly giveaways, and nightly live streams. You can even support us on Patreon at patreon.com/4Player. And last but not least, you can catch the live recordings of these podcasts every single Thursday night on our Twitch channel. We hope to see you there. Enjoy. Hello, everybody. Welcome to 4Player Podcast. This is our second E3 2017 podcast, tentatively called our Day Zero Part 2. The show floor hasn't yet opened. Today was our second day of press conferences, and we're going to talk about Ubisoft and Sony. There's quite a bit to talk about between those two. Nintendo is tomorrow morning, so we'll cover that in our Day 1 podcast, but for now... I have a list here that was sent to us by lovely community member Raphael, who put together, pretty much kept a log of all the games they talked about. So I'm just going to go down this list. Oh, by the way, Brad's here.
Yo.
Nolan's here.
Yo.
Crispy's here.
Hey.
And Christopher Davis
Meow.
is here.
Hello.
And, what?
Was that a meow?
I was doing you.
Really? Oh, I hate you so much.
All right. So, shall I just start?
Yes.
All right. I'm going to open with... probably the first big surprise, well, the first thing we saw today, which is also probably the biggest surprise for the day, Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle.
I don't think any of us were super excited about that.
No one was excited.
Dude,
No.
The funniest thing is that we were literally shitting on it while the trailer was playing, and I have never seen a faster 180 on a game from us collectively as a group in a long time.
Yeah.
Why does this game have to look good?
Yeah.
Suddenly, Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle became XCOM.
Yup.
Like, straight up, moving around the grid the exact same way you would in XCOM, taking cover like you would in XCOM.
I even saw some
Overwatch.
stuff. Yeah, Overwatch. I even saw some stuff that was going on in the action that I wish they would incorporate into XCOM.
Yeah.
Like some of the more teammates interacting with each other to like
Yeah.
either like help each other get for either attacks, or in this case it was Mario flinging another character somewhere else.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's XCOM maybe might take a few pointers from this game.
They were also like queuing up like
different
series of actions that would like
Then
spin
play out?
into like so like the one character could go over and do this and then come over here to set up to help another character, and then that character could jump off of them and then attack. Like
It's kind of like the Shadow Move system from Shadow Tactics.
Make sure you're close to the mic, too, when y'all are talking.
no.
A little.
But also, just it's really cool to see that style of game kind of planted into something very colorful and vibrant
And full of rabbits.
Yeah.
full of Rabbids, for the love of God. Oh my! I
That
know
is the
Chris
worst
Davis
part.
hates
If
Rabbids,
it's,
but
if it's any consolation, Chris Davis, you do spend most of the game killing rabbits.
That's true.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know, but
Brutally murdering.
it's funny
them.
because like you're like, why does this game have to exist? But like, it was probably like this style of gameplay was probably all of Ubisoft's idea, and Nintendo was just like, all right, let's do it.
Yeah.
Like they showed the developer in the crowd, like the creative director on it, just like kind of in tears, like Miyamoto's on stage talking about my game, like, oh my god, and we were like, oh my god, drag that man out, like this is crazy. And then the fucking game starts, and you're like, holy shit, this actually looks really
like,
cool.
The game also has like skill trees, and like some really interesting like weapons. Like we were, Brad and I were rewatching the footage like a couple of times after y'all had left, and yeah, like you know, collecting coins in the world and collecting coins when you defeat enemies, and using those coins to purchase like better weapons that have like all the weapons had like weapon spread and like a really like a lot of detailed information, and like I said, a skill tree, which unfortunately they didn't like go through the skill tree, so you can't see all of the details.
Yeah.
But the fact that there is quite interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it's a Switch exclusive. It's all.
I think this will play great on a Switch.
I think this is all on all of our radars at this point.
I just hope it's not too easy.
Yeah, that is the
Rabbids,
big fear.
being Mario, I don't want it to be too much.
I
for
will
kids.
tell you this.
Yeah.
I feel like a strategy game needs to be hard.
I'm kind of excited because part of the reason why I stopped playing the original XCOM and didn't play any of XCOM 2 is because...
Don't say it.
I don't play those types of games, and that game was kind of brutal.
I didn't lose a single dude in XCOM 2.
Well, I fucking lost the entire planet.
You're on the
within, like-
higher spectrum of the players who play these games, though.
You play these kinds of games way more than me, and while I love the gameplay, like, it just, like, it was really punishing to me. And I'm stubborn. I don't like to play games on easy, and so the alternative was I just stopped.
What?
Kind of
Why not?
I don't know.
Dude, I
just
play
don't
games
like
on
doing
easy
it.
all the
It's a
time.
mental
Nick,
thing.
Nick,
It's a
have-
mental
Nick,
thing.
have you
It is mental.
Have you ever considered
Yes.
that you're wrong?
Yes. Yes, I have. I have.
Dude, Nick, they make difficulty settings for a reason.
Yeah.
I don't play games on easy, Nolan.
You play,
just
you
don't
played
play
all the
them.
Dark Souls games, Nick. I don't want to hear it.
I know, and I tried XCOM before I played Dark Souls, but then again, I don't think there's a lot of overlap there. I don't necessarily think getting
You're-
good at
you're
Dark
a
Souls
man
is
now.
going to make me a better player at XCOM. I mean, it's just you have to think about those games in a way that I'm just not used to thinking about games. So, but you know what? I still love that game. In fact, when that game came out, I put XCOM 1 on my top 10 games of that year because I loved it so much, even though I was terrible at it. So you know what? Maybe that style of gameplay, like, and maybe a slightly easier, less, more carefree, like less stressful
More spiraling.
setting might make me, I might
Well,
really enjoy
one
it.
of the things
So what XCOM needed all along for you was Ubisoft's Rabbids.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd go that far.
Since we're not like directly gonna talk about that PC press conference, can we mention the new XCOM expansion?
Sure,
Hold
why
on, just before we move off, I was just Rabbids. The one thing I was Mario plus Rabbids. The one thing I was kind of concerned, or confused about, they didn't show too many characters. And what we saw, Mario and Luigi.
No, we didn't see Luigi at all.
We did. We saw Mario, Luigi, Peach.
Donkey Kong.
We didn't see Donkey Kong. We saw the Rabbid
Oh,
wearing a
the
Donkey
Rabbid
Kong
version,
tie.
yeah.
And Yoshi. Those are the only
And
four.
Toad. They did show
They did show
Toad,
Toad?
in a quick cut.
Okay,
Yeah.
so in Toad. So those are the only 5. So I mean, like,
And
it's
there's
like.
rabid versions of each.
Well, so
of
yeah,
those.
there's rabid versions of each of them, but I'm curious as if we're going to be seeing like any Mario enemies, like
I feel
Goombas
like I think
or
they
like
need
turtles.
to because if they want any kind of variety from
the Koopa
one
Kids?
The Koopa
one
Kids, yeah.
battle to the next, they're going to have to
is
introduce.
Bowser going to be there?
Surely
I'm
Bowser's
curious.
Sure,
in
there
there.
is.
But then the question is, which side is he on? Because this entire thing we've seen has been Mario fighting the Rabbids.
Yeah.
So
Well,
the
they're probably going to team up. He might even be the big bad pulling the strings, making all the rabbits
That's
evil.
true.
You
That's
know?
true.
But I mean,
Okay.
it'll probably
Maybe
be
the
fun.
Rabbids are just dicks and they don't need motivation.
No, they are dicks.
We'll see.
But yeah, that's coming out when?
the same day as the new XCOM
August
expansion.
29th.
Which is so weird.
It's super
August
weird.
29th.
So,
Splitting their audience.
so also today they announced the
Was that a jab?
I don't think they knew each other's release dates, so
I think
probably
they're both
not.
just going
no
like,
idea.
what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like,
they also announced the new expansion for XCOM 2, and if you played the last XCOM expansion, that thing was quite substantial. So
Yeah.
I'm hoping that this one is going to be substantial.
Was this the
too.
evil within, or not evil within, the enemy within?
Correct.
Version for
we
XCOM
hope.
2?
We hope it is.
Yeah.
We don't know.
I mean, it seems pretty major. There's like 3 new like enemy factions, and they're all like run by like these bosses that I think you're going to be fighting like
Yeah.
regularly.
they're like kind of recurring nemesis bosses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like yeah, it
Potentially.
seems like you won't just fight them one time. They'll be like you'll be chasing them.
They also have 3 new
Like allied factions.
allied
kinda.
I think you get one new
Essentially units,
class
yeah.
Yeah.
from each of those factions.
Each one of those factions. Yeah,
And that seems kind of cool. That they have essentially zombies, which seems pretty cool. Because
No one said
they,
the Z word.
they don't work like
they were called the Lost.
because I have a feeling they're going to be implemented in
I
such
think I
a way
remember hearing
that
the word
they're,
horde.
they're going to be like a slow impending threat,
That-
but not a direct one.
I'm wondering
which is
if
kind of
that
cool.
because they mentioned that the zombies or whatever are kind of tied to these specific locations in the world, like the ruins of these big cities that the aliens laid to waste when they
Correct.
took over.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm wondering if like maybe they're going to be relegated to like a specific type of mission,
Yeah.
and they're not just going to be like.
Maybe.
Like
I mean,
a
that would
more-
make sense, to not necessarily if you're in like in
like, oh, we're doing a horde mission now. This
in
is,
XCOM, you often go to various places in the world. You're in the middle of a forest, in the kind of the middle of nowhere sometimes, and so it wouldn't really make sense to have the Lost hanging out there. But when you're doing like a city mission, it would make a whole lot of sense to you to like bust through a door in a building, and all of a sudden there's a bunch of Lost workers that used to work in that building that had died, and
Yeah.
were all of a sudden pop up on you.
They,
and-
they make me think of a lesser version of the Chrysalids.
yeah, maybe.
Possibly.
Yeah.
I mean, if you.
I
could-
hope not. I hate the fucking chrysalids.
Oh, yeah, I know. I agree.
It's but it does seem substantial. I guess the only thing that I think is bumming me out a little bit is I feel like the aesthetics surrounding like all the different factions and stuff look super kind of corny.
Yeah.
and not definitely not cool
Yeah.
in my opinion of the word. So
I don't know, but yeah.
they're all like cool armor
it
and
kinda
purple lights and
seems on the
alien
same-
faces.
This kind of seems on the same level as the rest of XCOM. to me.
Well, but you know, like you think about the last expansion and like the stuff they added was like now you have like chunky mech
Giant
bodies
mech body.
and like you know cool alien powers. This just seems kind of
It wasn't like it's not as much of a radical departure.
yeah, it just seems kind of goofy.
Yeah.
I mean, there's cool alien designs in XCOM, even XCOM 2. You know,
There are.
yeah, these didn't seem that cool.
I don't know.
So we got another game in the PC conference out of all of the things they showed. We had one. I mean, not too many things that
They
were
showed Bannerlord, that
blowing our
looked
socks
pretty
off.
incredible.
Bannerlord
Uh,
did look really nice. It looked like Mountain Blade.
Yeah, it looked like more Mountain Blade. But I was thinking more of I can't remember this name.
Wargroove.
Wargroove. I can
Which is
never
a
remember the
weird-
name of
weird
this.
name,
Yeah,
I
it
don't-
is. That's why I keep forgetting it. Wargroove, which is essentially
Dope.
essentially an Advance Wars clone, but set in more medieval kind of
Yeah, medieval
a
fantasy.
medieval fantasy setting. And while it looks exactly like Advance Wars, it still looks fucking amazing.
Yeah, we need Advance Wars.
But it's a fucking just reskin
Yes.
of Advance Wars. The only thing that it didn't seem to be aping directly was I don't know if you guys were paying more attention to the screenshots, but I didn't see anything that indicated like COs.
Potentially,
No,
no.
they were.
There was a
Were
girl
there?
named like Mercia,
Hero
and like
units,
there,
like-
yeah,
Oh,
there was
okay.
there, yeah.
They were actually in the battlefield.
Yeah, Brad and I watched a couple, watched it a couple times. But yeah, no,
And then
it,
there were a couple combats that seemed like troops sieging a castle. Or
Yes.
Yeah, which seems
So
kinda-
yeah, I guess maybe when you go to take down like an enemy-controlled building,
Right.
now maybe you might have to fight off the people who
like
are
in
there.
Advance Wars when you go to a city and they're just like whoop whoop,
Yeah.
and then you gotta like
But you know, kind of, you know, changing with the setting of the game. Like you don't have a bomber anymore; it's like a flying dragon,
Yeah.
and like maybe like the helicopter maybe unit or either the jet unit. It was like witches on broomsticks. Like, and it seemed really cool. Like the unit, I can't remember what's the unit that moves your troops around. Like a
APC.
the APC was like a carriage,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
a buggy carriage thing.
Like
Yeah,
instead
it's
of a
kinda-
bomber, you've got a dragon that's
Yeah.
like breathing fire.
Yeah, so it was really cool. I'm
cute.
Instead of
looking.
subs, it looked like they had like giant turtles.
Yeah,
Yeah.
turtles.
it's-
And also, I mean, it's not for me, and it's never been for me. But they have like a whole map creator,
Oh.
and no, I'm not saying the game.
No, but that-
I'm saying what the game. But that leads to
That's
potentially
legit,
people
like, yeah.
making stuff. If they do it as in like a what was the Far Cry 4? Was that the one with the crazy map editor that you can make almost entire levels and fans were making them and then people could use
I
them?
thought I remember them doing that in Far Cry.
2.
Okay.
It was at least Far Cry 3.
Yeah.
Okay, well, anyway,
a few
so
games.
I think it could potentially have, expand the game a bit. But I've never been one to kind of make maps and stuff like that. It's just not my thing. I'm
Yeah.
not creative enough. But I'm looking forward to what fans create to almost extend the life of the game.
And it's developed by Chucklefish.
Chucklefish. Jesus
Chuckle
Christ.
shit.
Chucklefish, who made
It's developed by
Starbound.
good old
They seem
Chuckle shit.
competent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shall we?
Is there anything else on the PC conference?
I just
Honestly,
don't
don't
recall.
know.
I didn't really write anything
Oh,
down.
they have a big update for
And we didn't even see the whole thing.
Warhammer Total
Yeah.
War. They're adding
PUBG
high
stuff.
elves and
Lizard people.
lizard folk.
Crap,
All
people.
right. Shifting
whatever
back to
they're
Ubisoft.
Yeah.
Then. The next thing on the list they showed was Assassin's Creed Origins.
which-
Now they did actually do a 30-minute demonstration.
So
after
they
the press conference.
barely showed anything during the conference.
Yeah,
But
they showed a trailer. Which,
yeah, the trailer, but
which
and-
was gorgeous and showed a lot of like wildlife and stuff that really was
And,
really
and so
interesting
y'all
to me.
left through during that, but Brad and I finished off that 30-minute chunk.
Yeah, so y'all probably
Um,
actually at this point know more about it than I do.
Yeah. So I mean, it looks like Assassin's Creed. They showed some pretty cool stuff. I mean, y'all were kind of in the process of leaving when they were showing some of like the boat stuff. So I
Yeah.
don't know if y'all saw all of it, but it was pretty cool. You know, he got on a tiny boat in what looked like maybe the Nile.
Yeah.
And was kind of sailing around the Nile. He dove in the water.
I saw the thing with
interacting-
the hippo.
Yeah, he was fighting a hippo, fighting an alligator, or a crocodile, I guess.
The one thing that bothered me about that was when he was fighting the hippo underwater.
Yeah.
And he was swinging that thing around like the spear.
the physics of that
as
doesn't
if
make
like
sense.
he could swing it, like he was swinging it, like he could swing it out side of the water.
Yeah.
It was like if you're gonna use it underwater,
It
it
was
needs
a
to be
little silly.
like a stabbing motion. It was kind of unusual.
We saw him like sieging kind of like a enemy held fortress.
Yeah.
Using his eagle to scope it out, and I kind of talked about the fact that I really hope there's some consequences to the eagle because it doesn't seem like it is. It just seems like it's a free way to see everything that's going on without any consequences.
It might be the fully unlocked version of the Eagle at this point.
I think you actually even have to get to a point where you can unlock that as an ability.
Maybe.
I mean, that's true.
Because
Just
Yeah.
once, I want to
sure.
see a game that gives you an animal companion that does permadeath for the animal.
Yeah, where you can
So
lose
like
it.
if the bird dies, it's just like, oh no, my bird friend's dead. No.
That would be great.
Forever.
That would suck.
Or maybe until the point where you can actually somehow find a way to replace it, but at least not make it so that
you
you
can
just-
replace it with a
You
turtle.
delve into
And it
dark
takes like an
magic.
hour and a half to scope out the fucking fortress because you have a
But
turtle.
he's
Yeah.
like super low key, so
Yeah.
like nobody ever spots him.
Very efficient.
but it takes forever.
Yeah. Was there anything else, Brad, that we saw? I mean,
Well, I remember when I was leaving, they were showing off some of the skill trees and shit.
they didn't go too in depth into that.
The boats move really fast.
Yeah, we did talk about that.
Yeah, that was nice.
You know, we briefly had talked about it yesterday at the Microsoft conference, but there was abilities to kind of like slow down time when you're using arrows. They didn't show any more of that arrow
Jumping or whatever.
ability.
The slowdown?
Yeah, they didn't show
Yeah.
any of that during that footage.
The world seemed really big.
The world. Oh yeah, that's the thing. The map seemed fucking huge. They zoomed out and
Good.
were panning around. It seems enormous.
So this is what I was kind of thinking when they were showing that. Is I feel like this world, in order to make up for maybe the fact that the game might be a little bit less vertical than like Syndicate was, because obviously back not huge skyscrapers and shit.
buildings.
Um,
I mean, there were like he was in some places where there were big, tall rock faces.
yeah, rock faces, cliff sides,
yeah.
pyramids, things like that. But
So
like,
there's some,
but there
yeah.
might be less of that kind of stuff to scale. So
Probably.
I feel like it's for not being quite as tall, it might be a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
On the server, which is great. I think that world is probably going to be a lot of fun to explore. Or whatnot. Was there anything else that stood out to you? They didn't show any naval combat, quote unquote. So I think
They
kinda,
did not.
I think it's kind of safe to say that that's not going to be a major focus of this
Well,
game.
I don't think it.
In the same sense,
I think they feel like it doesn't need to be an Assassin's Creed anymore now that they've
Now
spun
that
it
they have
off.
a new
Yeah.
franchise.
Into something
Well, I
else.
don't even know who would make a ton of sense
We'll get to
in
that.
this game.
Well,
but
it's not like the Egyptians had cannons and shit.
I know,
So
yeah.
what would naval combat be?
yeah, and that.
Greek fire.
Maybe ship to ship combat,
But-
like running up to each other.
But that is
and-
cool. Like the ships do look
like
way more
dunking each other.
Yeah.
more fun to use.
So they did show him picking up a couple of side missions. Like he came up to a guy who maybe had stolen something, and he was being beaten by like a guy with like a crocodile head, like
Yeah.
Snake from Metal Gear Solid 3. And he's like, "Hey, why are you doing this?" And they had a conversation about it. And the thing that still gets to me is this kid, this random side quest giver, had to me more emotions than Bayek, the main character,
Yeah.
and I'm really still worried that the main character is going to be super bland. Like
Yeah.
it's just like
Bland, cool dude,
Well,
bro.
no, it's like when he was interacting with him, it's just his facial animations, just this straight face. His eyes don't kind of like emote.
Didn't a lot of people feel that way about Connor and
They did,
Assassin's
yeah.
Creed 3?
And
Yeah,
I
which is another fucking stereotype of
Yeah.
of the proud, serious,
The
noble
stoic,
African.
yeah.
That,
Yeah.
I'm worried that that's just a stereotype they're going to lean into, and that's super boring.
I mean, they haven't put any effort into actually marketing the character.
Correct, they
himself.
have.
I do hope
So-
that maybe his backstory might give
Maybe.
make him a more interesting, well-developed character.
But like I was saying, I want him to be like an emotional kind of emoting person. And during cutscenes, like just has reactions to things.
Yeah.
Like every scene I've seen of him, he just has this straight face, this dead stare.
I will say this: I think historically in this series, and this is not necessarily a good thing. I think Assassin's Creed Syndicate did a lot to fix this issue.
Yeah.
But with the exception of Ezio, I feel like the series has generally had a more interesting supporting cast than
Yeah,
hero character.
agreed. Yeah.
Like the series has some great characters that you interact with and do missions for and stuff like that. But it wasn't until
there's-
outside of Ezio, it wasn't until I played the character in Syndicate or the characters in Syndicate where I was like, wow, these characters actually feel way more developed. Evie and
Philip? No, what's his name?
I can't remember
the Fry. The Fry.
Yeah,
Philip J. Fry.
Yes, Philip J. Fry.
Exactly.
There you go.
Yeah.
exactly, nailed it.
What's up with the giant snake monster?
That did not come up at all.
Zlak has a point.
What?
What?
Slavko says, I mean, Ezio being a charismatic playboy is also a pretty stereotypical.
Yeah,
Italian.
but it's
that
like
is.
a fun stereotype.
Yeah, it's a stereotype that's not like boring.
There are still Italian people to this day that are really fucking pissed.
Yeah.
But
Evie and Jacob, thank you.
Evie and Jacob,
Evie
yeah.
and Jacob.
I think both those characters were fantastic.
Yeah.
Was there any sign of any mention of multiplayer, co-op, or adversarial?
This game is
Nope.
great single player. In
That's
the
why
base.
Nick's gonna love
okay
it.
there?
I'm gonna
No,
fucking love it.
Man,
So I'm gonna
you
fucking love it.
you don't understand what the gaming world
Fuck off.
lost when Ubisoft decided to abandon that shit.
Dude,
I get that
You
it
lost
wasn't
greatness.
Crispy.
very polished. It was really hacky. Like people broke it, and Ubisoft microtransaction the fuck out of it.
Crispy.
But like there was some cool fucking ideas.
I know,
in
let me
Assassin's
stop you
Creed
there. Let me
multiplayer.
stop you there.
I'm sorry. You brought it up.
For two reasons. One, you do know I'm leaning into this running joke we have going right now that I don't
I
like
know.
those kinds of games.
That you hate
Two,
Destiny.
if you go back in time to when Assassin's Creed Brotherhood came out, to our E3 podcast, I was over the moon about the multiplayer. In fact, it's one of my favorite things I played that year, and I actually did enjoy the shit out of the multiplayer when it came out. It's just the thing is, it seems like when they get distracted doing multiplayer, even if it's great, the single player tends to suffer.
No, they used to just.
What else?
get
And I will
different
always play
studios.
Assassin's Creed more for the single player. That's just me.
Let's
Point
move
is,
on.
whatever.
Yeah.
Let's move on to the next thing.
The Crew
the
2.
Crew 2. Now, I'm not a crew expert,
Hey,
so I don't know.
I don't play driving games that often, but they're adding boats and planes.
Inception. They're adding Inception.
And,
Yeah.
like, I mean,
Yeah.
it seems like it could be
Boats
cool.
and planes, man. That's where it's at.
I
I
mean,
like
trains.
planes.
Do you think they're gonna have trains?
Train race?
Can you race a train?
Why not?
The Great Train Race.
Yeah.
And
You,
evidently,
you could race two trains, they just wouldn't see each other.
evidently, the first crew actually had a storyline, and they're adding another storyline to this. So I'm like,
Are they?
Why?
Wait, did they ever say anything about trying to do the whole like full
This-
United States thing again?
No, they didn't
storyline
mention
just
it.
That's
seems-
probably a good idea.
The storyline just seems to be this guy's really good at driving things.
yeah,
Well,
But
Isn't
keep
that-
in mind, Nick,
the off-road
the
stuff
trailer
look good.
did show it started in New York, showed like Midland America,
Yeah.
showed the desert, ended in like San Francisco. Like,
yeah, it's gonna be in a
like
big space.
they're definitely. They might rework how they do the whole cross country.
I
thing,
like open
but I
world-
think that's going to be part of the.
I love
experience.
open world stuff a lot.
I like Hydro Thunder.
But to me,
and they had boat races.
experiencing an
was
open world experiencing an open world exclusively but from behind the wheel of a vehicle is far less interesting to me.
Planes are cool.
But planes are cool. Like of
They
course,
were
flying
racing
planes are
through
cool.
like
Cities?
skyscrapers
Yeah, that was
and
kinda
stuff.
cool.
You know.
they were doing actual airplane races,
And it wasn't just like
the ra-
Cessnas either. Like,
Yeah.
there
Yeah.
was some cool planes.
All right, what else we got?
South Park and the Fractured Butthole.
I'm so fucking excited.
I'm not even gonna pronounce the title
wasn't-
correctly. I'm just gonna say
It
butthole.
wasn't
Yeah.
even like gameplay or anything.
There
it?
wasn't-
It
there was
you know what
barely
I'm saying?
any-
Well, you know it, yeah, I know,
There was
I know.
barely any game.
They had me at the
It was-
call girl joke.
Oh yeah.
That was
It's
so
hard
good.
not to tell when it's
Wendy.
gameplay, when it's
Yeah,
not.
she's like, if you ever need help, you can always rely on me.
Timmy as a Professor X knockoff is just too perfect.
Yeah, that's pretty good. There was actually more to that scene because that they had that behind closed doors, and I saw that last year, and it was all of the boys interacting with each other, and all of a sudden, because it was kind of the whole like Cartman being a dick, and he's always kind of the instigator of everything, and then Timmy starts talking to him mentally, and Cartmen's like, he called us all dicks or whatever. He's like, he called us assholes. Like, what he did? And, like,
my
getting all-
mind.
yeah, in my mind. It
Is
just
there a release date?
yes, October.
Guys, October just went from 0 to 50.
27th or 22nd, something like that.
that.
Something like that. Yeah,
We'll have to
end of
cancel.
October.
I'm guessing it's probably the same day as one of the other major releases.
Probably.
Also coming out in
Yeah.
October.
That it looks so good though. I mean, it's if you like South Park, if you have any fun with the Stick of Truth, which has been on sale a lot lately.
I still haven't played that, but I own it.
It's so good. This game looks amazing.
Yeah, I do agree. That looks great.
It sucks that it's been delayed by over a year,
Yeah.
but whatever.
Also, there was that other South Park game.
Oh,
it's on the list. It's on the
Phone
list.
Destroyer.
I'm getting
We
to
don't
it.
really know
Okay.
what that is, though.
Well, we might as well get to it now.
You're talking
Fine.
about
South Park Phone Destroyer.
Phone
What
Destroyer.
it kind of looks like is a card-based battling thing.
Yeah, then that's
Yeah.
pretty much all we know
That you
about
play
it.
on
I
your
mean,
phone.
'Cause it-
lots
'cause-
of different classes, you know.
Yeah, the game field seemed to be like a battlefield split down the middle, and the interface was like a hand of cards at the bottom.
Yeah.
And I'm a little worried that this might just be something really super shallow, like Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes or some shit like that.
Yeah.
But if there is actually like a tactical element with like the card battling, it could be a lot of fun.
It could be.
Next up, we have this is a weird one, and we don't know much of anything about it at this point. Transference. This was the game with Elijah Wood as creative director.
VR game.
The
Yeah.
weird ass VR game.
Yeah, what is there to even say about this? I don't even know what the fuck we were watching.
We don't know.
Well, they didn't really show us.
It looks
so.
weird. Elijah Wood's involved. It's VR. Like, I'm in.
Yeah,
Let's
yeah,
do it. Like,
yeah, fucking.
I want to assume it's a FMV VR.
It seemed
Why would
Yeah.
they do that?
Well, because all the stuff they showed was like live
Live
action,
action,
like.
yeah.
a lot.
I thought they were just showing like the people who were like
Well,
working on
they were showing them like talking, and then they were backing out, and it was all like on TV screens, like in a.
Yeah, but I
Space,
still
like-
think those were just the people working on the game.
Well, there was
I
also
don't
some
think that.
No.
I don't think
in-game
that at
elements
all.
too. Like there was the one guy in the video that was dated like 2004 or something that was talking about
okay.
the transference.
Dude, I thought I was watching. I literally thought we were finally watching the official trailer for Camdrome for a minute.
No.
It looked very Camdrome-y. Like you
Although I
got
wouldn't
you
put
got
it
to at
past
least
Elijah
recognize where I was coming
Techno
from on that
horror.
one.
Techno,
Techno horror.
horror looks like Camp.
Which is still never going to be a thing, I guess.
Yeah.
So here's the
That's
first.
really sad.
Here's the first big surprise. Or not big surprise. This is, or not the first one, but the next big surprise from Ubisoft. New IP, which actually leaked moments before.
Yeah, like literally like 10
l-
minutes before they showed it. Yeah.
Yeah, Skull and Bones, which is literally the Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag
Spun off
naval
into it.
combat.
That
spun
everybody's
off.
asked for years.
People have asked for this.
I remember, dude, y'all asked for this. I remember talking about Assassin's Creed 4 the year it came out, and y'all were like, God, I wish they would just take this and
Yes.
make it a multiplayer game. And I
Yes.
was like, oh, well, here you go.
But I think
There's
we
a
kind
big
of
flaw with
envisioned-
what
yeah,
we wanted, though.
We kind of envisioned a group of people being on a single boat.
Yeah. Which
Not
is
a
kind of
group
what
of
Sea of
boats.
Thieves.
It's kind of what Sea of Thieves
going
is
for.
supposed to be. Yeah.
So now instead of that, you each player in a match has their own boat, and they all the different boats have they're all like classes.
Well, they
have
showed
different-
one match, and I say showed. It was all pre-rendered. It wasn't like when they showed Sea of Thieves, and it seemed like there was a person controlling each boat. But yeah, they showed a 5v5 match. Where you have the big warship, and you have the frigates, and you have
This is the
Brigade-
pirate version of Dreadnought.
Yeah.
Is what this is.
No, it is, yeah.
Yeah.
You have different ships. Some are faster, some are good at ramming ships. Some have all like the cannons and stuff. And the point is, you attack the other ships while trying to gather the most treasure you can in a certain amount of time, I guess. But the weird thing was, is they showed some other factions coming in at one point.
Well,
Like-
what they were saying, I think, was that like towards the end of the match they'll release these like pirate hunters.
No, but I think before
that go
that, I thought I
after-
saw more.
Which
Oh,
I
I thought
assume
those were
those
just
to be.
other
I assume
players.
them to be like the cleaners or the whatever they are, and let it die. The super powered enemies that show up.
Kind of like that, yeah. There's NPCs that come in and they're very powerful, and you can try and take them on, but you risk losing some treasure.
Yeah.
So it might be your best bet to run.
What
kinda.
stuck out to me about this game that made me really kind of unsure about it is that it doesn't seem like you ever get out from behind
The
the
ship,
wheel of the
yeah.
ship. You don't actually, as a character, run around.
And that
You
is
are
true.
Controlling the ship.
When they showed, you took down a ship, instead of boarding it, they didn't show like in an Assassin's Creed 4 when you would board it and fight them. It showed them a
Very
cutscene of you
contextual.
boarding and then getting back
Yeah.
onto your ship. Like,
I mean, this seems like purely multiplayer, ocean ship dogfights or whatever you would call them. And,
so my
and that's
question
it.
is, if that's all the game is this going to be a $60 game?
Yes.
First of all, yes,
I
I
mean,
think, and
For
two, I
Honor
think it's
was-
going to disappoint.
Yeah, I guess that is true.
For
For
Honor
Honor
had a
was-
single player campaign.
My
Yeah,
prediction
I mean,
is this
I'm
game
sure
is
this-
going to disappoint because it's while yes, the naval combat was a super well done and admirable part of that game. Simply lifting that out without taking the other elements that made it great.
Black Flag was great because of the ship. But
And
it
the
was
freedom-
it was the fact that it was like Wind Waker.
That it was
the fact
part
that
of
you
the
could go anywhere
Well,
and level up your ship and
so
get out.
that's the thing. So they did show you customizing your ship
treasure.
and this
Captain
stuff.
were two separate entities.
But I literally
Yeah.
want to take this, everything we saw from Skull and Bones, and take all that and lay it on top of Sea of Thieves. That's what I wanted
Yeah.
from this.
Yeah.
I wanted a game where you had a ship and you could go off and do things and plunder and do stuff, but I wanted to be able to get off my ship and do other things. I just wanted to literally take the Assassin's Creed out of Black Flag and just get rid of it and leave everything
I mean,
that was
I
left.
just-
That's what I wanted.
yeah.
All I would say to that is that if you're playing with a team of 5 people, okay, somebody has to be the captain and everybody else has to do some other job. Everybody's eventually going to want to pilot.
Talking about
a
Sea of
ship.
Thieves?
No, he's basically saying if you have 5 people on a ship, everyone's gonna want to be the captain.
I wouldn't want to be the
But that's
captain.
also
That's a problem that's already been solved by like asymmetrical multiplayers, where everyone like it's a random assignment at the beginning of the match.
Yeah.
If you want, you select what positions you want to play, and it randomly assigns based on your selections.
And if they balance it well, everyone will have a specific job that will be fun and engaging.
Yeah, like Guns of
make them
Icarus
feel
is
important.
good. I wouldn't like if I were to be in like a Sea of Thieves type situation. I wouldn't mind being in like the crow's nest, like pointing out where enemies are or manning certain types of cannons.
You feel like a goddamn team.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's
I
the
get that.
fun.
I understand that.
But
Teamwork makes the dream work, Chris Davis.
I do. I was a little intrigued by the whole Kraken tease at the end.
Oh yeah, I
But-
forgot about that.
Yeah, that's
but
kinda cool.
that still is just that Krakens are cool, but like
But that might also be some indication
What
to
is
play
it?
into single player.
Yeah, single player
Because
element.
what they were implying before they switched that version of the trailer, that your character at that point may have become a little bit too powerful, or the game tried to wanted to balance you out a little bit.
so like using the Kraken as a
Yeah.
to like
I don't-
knock you down a few pegs.
When I see
Maybe.
stuff like that, though, and I know we're dealing with Ubisoft, my inclination isn't to associate it with hard sim game mechanics. It's
I
to
agree.
associate it with story
Yeah.
and presentation. And-
That's possible.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
I'm just at this point, all they showed was multiplayer. So
I'm
else
a
we
little,
got?
I'm a little nervous about that game, but we'll see. Just Dance 2018.
All right,
Nope. Moving on.
you can play as Sub-Zero in that.
Starlink
Yeah,
Battle
Airmac.
for Atlas.
Yeah, that was the fucking game with the
Space
McDonald's
Skylanders,
toys.
Yeah.
What
where
the
you, where
Oh,
you,
yeah, where
Yeah.
you buy the fucking Starfighter pieces
Oh.
and build it on your controller,
Who
and
is
then
that for?
it's
It's
just
for
a
them
space
to make
sim.
money, Brad.
it's-
That's who it's for.
it's for
Little
the-
kids will
it's-
want
it's
the
But
for
do
pieces.
little kids want this?
Dude,
They will.
Skylanders.
They want little funny characters.
No,
not
they
spaceships.
want to go for the slightly older kids, like
Yeah,
teenagers,
like
that think
like
that
10 to
Skylanders is
15, like
too-
that area.
Too kiddie.
Yeah.
Oh, but I'll buy a cool
No,
starship
they won't buy
model.
that either. I don't
No,
think
their
that
parents
game,
will buy it.
that game totally
you
lost
gotta,
me.
You gotta buy the model, then you gotta buy the.
It
weapons
looked
and
great
attachments
until they
and
showed the
everything.
first model.
I kind of want us to like go in for a site copy. of
that whole
and
genre is
try it out.
bleeding money anyways. Like
Yeah.
this was a bad choice.
Yeah.
I mean, Ubisoft does this every few years. They always had that some physical gimmick game that nobody's eventually gonna buy. Like, remember that fucking laser tag game they tried to sell us years
Yeah.
ago?
Yeah, where they actually had people running up and down the aisles of the Ubisoft conference shooting each other with laser
What?
guns.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
Oh
this.
my god, it was so bad.
It was a thing.
It was
What else
so
we got,
bad.
Nick?
Only 2 more games. Far Cry 5. I was waiting for this.
Look pretty
The
cool.
gameplay
trailer.
looked pretty good. No, it's gameplay. They showed
that was-
gameplay.
Well, we don't
No,
know.
I mean,
if
but it was a trailer.
Oh,
Okay,
Yeah.
sorry.
I was
Yes,
honestly-
it was scripted gameplay.
I expected them to end this conference with a full blown 10-minute demonstration
That
of the
would've
game
been
in
nice.
action, which would have been nice. But what they showed did look really cool. Like they,
Dude, the fucking dog will attack people and bring you their guns.
Yeah.
That's fucking
Good boy.
good dog.
Good boy.
The game also looks quite nice
Yeah.
and seems like it's going to be a fun shooter, but because they didn't do like a full blown
gameplay.
demonstration, I don't know what exactly I can say about
They-
this because
well, no,
I am.
I'll tell you one thing they're adding to this game that's pretty fucking cool. They're bringing back the Far Cry 2 thing where you have your companion that can help you out in combat.
Oh, yeah.
But this time you can actually order him around to do shit.
Yeah, you can actually issue commands to your NPC.
In this instance,
companion.
it really reminded me of Quiet from Metal Gear Solid
Yeah.
5 because it was
Wow.
a sniper companion and you told them to go to a spot and then you marked a target for them to shoot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
So-
hope she won't be humming in your ear the whole time.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
I just can't wait to be like flying a helicopter and like dropping bombs out of it again.
Yeah.
Yeah, they showed flying around. They just showed like a
Lots of-
dogfight
lots of
in a plane,
vehicles.
which was cool. A lot of, they showed the fucking tractor with the.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
running over
Yeah.
the dude.
running-
with
oh
the
my god, that was cool.
combine.
And they even ran over the cow too.
I mean, part of the excitement also just comes from it does feel really cool to see like Far Cry, but in this setting, like suddenly coming to America, like it's fucking cool. Like I don't know how else to say it. It's a different feeling.
Where it belongs, Nick? Is
yes,
that what you're
in
trying
America,
to say?
where it
Is that what you're
belongs.
trying to say?
just like Wonder Woman.
Yeah, right.
but I
Needs to
also
be more American.
I do think the game actually looked really good too. Like when they were just doing the montage of like showing some gunplay and taking dudes out, I think the game actually looked pretty damn slick.
I mean, I still don't know what I'm going to be doing.
It looked
in
brutal, too.
Montana? Where were you?
Montana.
Montana.
Hope County,
I don't know what the
Montana.
fuck we're going to be doing.
well, here's like
You're taking down the cult.
I really like this concept of this just this being like a I don't know what the word I'm looking for. Like the town has been completely taken over by this cult.
Yeah.
And like communication and support from the outside world and the
cut
government
off.
is like cut off. And it's like the only way we're going to be able to do anything about this is if we stand up and kind of take it back ourselves.
Well, they
And that's
seem
kind
to
of a
be,
cool
like,
concept.
Mercenaries hired to
Yeah.
do this.
Yeah, I
That's what
mean,
they
yeah,
imply.
I think that's probably going to be the
Well,
case
I mean,
as well.
those trailers showed it to be like a little more personal, like people who are from the town are
It's
trying to take it
personal.
back, right?
Yeah.
It can go either way at this point. I'm not entirely sure, but it looks cool. I'm excited. I just kind of wish there was a more beefy demonstration, but they chose not to do that because they decided to close their show
End with a showstopper.
with
Oh,
the
yeah.
biggest surprise of the show.
I think
Period.
so.
I think. I never thought.
Even though we knew that Beyond Good and Evil 2 was in development.
We think. Yeah. I mean, it was always kind of a.
Well, I mean,
I know.
Michelle Ansel said it wasn't, and they even released concept art. I guess he was just
Several
getting a little
times.
antsy.
Yeah.
But, yeah, the new Beyond Good and Evil, which...
Beyond Good and Evil 2 is coming out. They brought Michel Ancel on stage. He looked a little emotional.
Very, yeah.
Very emotional, which is great to see because he obviously was very passionate about that project, and showed a new.
So the
New
thing
trailer.
is the trailer didn't show a whole lot of game. I mean, it wasn't none of it was gameplay.
None of his gameplay, but apparently the game is being shown gameplay like behind closed doors at E3.
So after y'all
So-
left, Brad and I watched another video of I can't remember the guy's name, the Ubisoft guy, talking with Michelle Ancel about
Yves, or-
doing a kind of breakdown of the trailer,
Oh,
like
okay.
hitting each element and kind of talking about what's going on here. And so he had mentioned, what was the monkey's name? Nox.
Nox.
Yeah.
Like that hand thing he had, the grappling hook. Apparently, that's going to be a mechanic in the game.
A gameplay mechanic?
Yeah.
You know the.
So you're probably gonna be switching characters. I would
Yeah.
imagine.
Well, we don't even know what this
know.
game is.
Yeah, we honestly don't know.
This is why I'm.
An open universe shared experience.
So it is multiple person. They talked about when he was riding on the bike that most vehicles will have multiple seats so there can be a driver and like a gunner or something, kind of that kind of style, or whatever
Yeah.
they end up doing.
Yeah. By the way, they also said that the plan is to have seamless transitions from like indoor environments to
Outside
outdoors
to space.
Space?
Yes, they said to
Seamlessly.
space.
What?
Different worlds.
Shut the fuck
No,
up.
Michelle
You
said it.
shut the fuck up.
Michelle said it, and
Oh,
that's the thing I
man.
was talking about with Brad. That seems fucking ambitious as
with
hell.
multiple players.
Like,
Dude.
I don't know what this is. I'm horrified.
Dude,
Yeah.
I am so excited.
Dude, I'm excited and horrified, and this is—I know I've been getting shit for this all day. I was so pleased with this trailer until at the very end when they started talking about it being a seamless online world,
Well, what if
because I
it's-
don't want.
So what if it's like Watch Dogs multiplayer?
I wanted a second Beyond Good and
What if
Evil.
It's like Watch Dogs.
Yeah,
multiplayer?
listen to him.
Well, which is fine. If it's like that, then that's fine. But I also have a feeling that it's gonna be like one of those games where you have to be connected to the internet to even fucking play it, and I fucking hate that shit. I hate it.
I mean, but these are promises.
But I mean, they
Coming from, like,
definitely put
competent
their
people.
like
Yeah.
they.
You know
they
what I'm
started,
saying? This isn't some like Icelandic 4-person
No.
team that nobody's ever heard of saying we're doing something crazy and everyone's like, oh my god,
No, but,
something
like-
crazy. Like, I mean, these are.
I know they're competent
Michel
people.
Ancel,
I
like,
just don't
I
want
mean-
the game to be a game that requires an internet connection to play, because that's what I feel like they're telling me.
For sure.
Well, but when they opened this thing, it was like story and characters, and not just like that character from the BioWare game, like actual, like we're watching a movie.
You see,
here.
like,
characters.
You see a minute of the character, and you
Scenes.
already have like a sense of what
real
who they
direction,
are,
yeah,
like, yeah.
Dude,
personality.
I think
But that's interesting from the standpoint if it is like a optional like co-op thing where you've got 3 or 4 people playing, like is there a mechanic where like they have this big cast of memorable characters and you're just picking who you want to play? Like that could be really fucking cool. That's like you know, I don't know. That's like the hero.
Maybe Ubisoft wouldn't greenlight this project unless it had some of that kind of shit in it. Maybe Ubisoft's just in a position they're like, no, these are the kind of games we do, Michel Ancel. If it doesn't have this shit in it, you're not doing it.
It took them 2 years to break them down.
I do want to say that despite my hesitation, like I think everything about this trailer is fucking exciting. I think
it was
It's fucking gorgeous.
entertaining.
It's gorgeous.
It was funny.
Had a
it
lot of
was-
I mean, the
character.
trailer.
Lot of
It's a
characters.
trailer.
had a lot of unexpected
looks
cursing.
good. That
Oh, yeah.
universe.
People
looks
were
cool.
people
Yeah.
were like, this isn't Beyond Good and Evil.
I-
They're cursing like every 5 seconds.
I also like that they're doing this whole like prequel thing. They're removing it from being directly like butted up against the original Beyond
Yeah.
Good and Evil story.
They're
I
not
like
letting
that.
they're not letting the first game necessarily define what the second
Right.
game has to be,
Yeah.
which is cool. Like I think they are saying that this is before Jade was born, which I,
mean,
don't know if that
no,
implies
there-
that Jade is involved.
There is a direct connection. I mean, Michelle was saying like when they focused on that lady in her eyes and stuff, and he was like, "Oh yeah,
There's
is
connections.
a connection."
I
there.
think
He
I
didn't
think
say
it could
what
be
it
a
I
was.
think the
was,
assumption is that this is probably going to be Jade's mother.
Yeah.
But you also got to understand. Have you all? We've all finished Beyond Good and Evil.
I don't think everyone here has.
No.
I have.
Okay. There is
Yeah.
a. Okay. Well, she's not like just a normal human.
Spoilers.
Well, play
What?
Beyond Good and Evil. It's
Yeah.
been 14
Yeah.
years.
Yes.
Has been
Brad,
for-
I can give you a huge list of games you should play. Everyone has
All
games
right.
they
I'm
don't get
always
around
looking
to.
for like good games to
So,
play.
but what is there anything else to say about Beyond Good and Evil 2? I think it's amazing that first of all that game was brought here. I didn't think in a million years that was going to happen.
To hear that
and
scale described, that's kind of scary.
See,
That's what I said. It's
I was
daunting.
I was a little shocked at Brad's reaction.
To what?
The Beyond Good and Evil 2 reveal.
Why?
Because it's been like every year it's like, is it gonna happen? Is it gonna happen? It never happens. And then it
Well-
happens, and Brad was just sitting here watching, like, oh my god.
Okay. Well,
And he was like,
first
so,
of all,
it was a cinematic
he
trailer.
was like so subdued. I thought he was gonna be like, I thought he was immediately going
Hold
to wet
on,
himself.
Hold on. Couple things.
That he was
Few
immediately
things.
going to wet himself.
First of all, this shit's been confirmed. You know, but back when my hopes and dreams were for another Beyond Good and Evil, it was based on the cinematic trailer that they had shown years and years and years ago, and then nothing. Beyond Good and Evil 2 was essentially announced, and they went dead silent. Last year, Michelle Ancel was like, "Yeah, it's a real thing. Here's some concept art." You know, like we didn't know that it was going to be here, but we know that this game is in
but
development.
Michelle Ancel did say very recently in a
Also-
Q&A that like no, it won't be at
Yeah,
E3,
but-
which was obviously him trying to like prep like he wanted people to be surprised.
But
Well, no, he didn't say
know
it
this
wouldn't
thing
be at E3. He said that
It's not ready
E3
to
is-
show.
Yeah,
for E3.
it can be shown later in the year, but he wasn't prepared to give it a full
Which
review.
means the behind closed doors might be a little rough. The other thing is the whole thing was very like I was just kind of taking it in. This is not the Beyond Good and Evil that I recognize. Obviously,
Nor
these are
that
new
demo
characters.
video that kind of leaked out that showed her.
But
running
I don't
through
even
the
think
city.
That was
I
a
don't
long
even
time
think because not to mention that
No, that game was canceled long
that was
ago.
Jade in that in
Yeah,
that
that was
demo.
Jade. That was yeah. That's different. That's different.
But hey, I you know.
I would still play that game, by the way.
I was kind of
I was just like,
speechless.
I was just like,
all.
oh my god, it's happening. I look at Brad and it's just like nothing.
I mean,
It's just like
yeah.
silence,
Just numbness.
just numbness.
yeah.
Can't
So
wait.
that covers the Ubisoft conference.
I'd like to point out games that weren't at the Ubisoft press conference that really should have been.
Of course you would.
Like Wild.
Yeah.
Which
Where
is
the fuck is Wild?
supposedly a Michelle Ancel project. So
What
maybe
about
that's kind of
what
taking.
Ancestors?
Are they putting that in the back burner now that they're actually able to
that
work
was a
on?
separate little team. I don't even know.
No. Ancestors is not
Not Ancestors.
a Ubisoft game.
It's not?
No, that is what's his face? Patrice,
Desolé.
who was like
Cast out.
He was
cast out of Ubisoft.
But I thought he'd come back for Ancestors.
Dude, I'm pretty sure
he
Ancestors
wasn't-
is not being
Okay,
published by
okay.
Ubisoft. I don't think they're on speaking terms.
Yeah.
I could be wrong about this, but I'm pretty sure they are parted ways.
He didn't come back. I remember he tried to start a new project and like
They tried-
with THQ, and then Ubisoft bought that property.
Yeah, 1666.
Yeah.
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 And Splinter Cell wasn't there.
I don't think
So
he
I'm
likes
dead inside.
Ubisoft. Ubisoft.
Dude, I don't think you're going to see this is not the last. I don't think you've seen the last of Splinter Cell.
I do.
You're just trying to poke the bear, Chris.
They're just taking a break.
I think he's
for a
saying Chris Davis is gonna die.
3D. It's like it's coming right at you.
Splinter.
while. Shuffling in his
I hope
nose.
when it comes back, it's a VR game.
Fuck you.
And I hope
Developed by
I hope the
Mercury
lights.
It's
on-
like I can see the trailer now. It's Sam Fisher sliding down his stupid 3-lens goggles, beep, and then it cuts to a player sliding on a PSVR.
Oh,
Like-
where's a sharp object I can stab you with?
Sony.
All right. Well, okay. I do want to. I think we should as we traditionally do, should cut it, take a quick break, come back, and talk about the second one. So
Yeah.
I'm going to cut it right here, and then when we come back from the break, we'll talk about Sony, which also had a pretty detailed or pretty impressive lineup as well. So we'll talk about that. So if you're listening at home, don't go anywhere. We'll be back in just a moment. All right, back. We're back. We have one more conference to talk about for the day. Sony. Mm-hmm. I think the conference that we were all looking forward to the
that
most.
would be the best.
We assumed it would be the
It
best.
usually
Always
always
look forward to
is.
Sony
Yeah.
most.
And it was pretty good.
It wasn't bad.
Wasn't
it definitely
bad.
wasn't bad.
Definitely not
Just not
bad.
the conference of dreams.
It was better than Bethesda.
It
like it has been.
guys, I
Yeah.
still can't fucking believe Bethesda. All the fucking trouble.
What do you want from them? They're not like they're not Sony. They're not. I mean, they only have so much shit.
I know, but like they went through so much trouble of building a carnival that they didn't, and then they
They
didn't
had to
announce
make a
anything.
big deal out of it because they didn't have a ton of shit.
They hired the chain smokers.
yeah.
They hired Blink 182 last year.
Well, they-
And what were
It's
they
not
hired
about-
it for?
it's-
They hired it for Prey and Quake and Dishonored 2.
And you know what
That's
they
true.
had?
I
You know
mean-
what? You know what they had the other night? Dishonored 2 and Quake, and like nothing.
It's just
there wasn't a whole
Bethesda.
lot
But you
else.
know
I
what?
mean,
It gets people talking
I
about their
understand there was
games.
evil within. I
and
understand there was other stuff. I'm just saying. Oh, on the whole, they were showing more games that are already out, and that we like know about.
I think
than-
they set the bar way too high with their first
let's
press
stop talking about
That's
Bethesda.
exactly the problem.
Let's stop talking about Bethesda.
All right,
Let's talk about
PlayStation.
Sony. The first thing we saw,
Uncharted.
definitely saw and not heard,
Yeah.
was Uncharted: The Lost Legacy.
But we did rewatch it.
Yeah.
After we got the audio problems, or after
It
they
looks
got the
sexy.
audio
I mean,
problems.
looks pretty
they
good.
didn't show any gameplay or anything,
a
but
little bit. I mean, there was
really nothing about that game
they
to
weren't
me.
shooting. Is there shooting in this?
Oh, I'm
Surely
100%
there
there's
is.
going to be shooting.
There is
Uncharted.
there is nothing about this game to me that screams like anything less than a sequel to, like maybe a spin-off sequel to
Yeah.
Uncharted. Like this, to me,
Although it's supposedly not as
I mean,
long.
it may not be quite as
Yeah.
long, but the budget is like the production value is there, the voice acting is there, the set pieces are all there, and it has Chloe and Nadine. Like, I'm fucking
I'm excited.
super excited.
The character, whoever they were talking with, it seems like maybe the antagonist.
Yeah,
seemed kind of interesting. That guy that was also trying to find this tusk that they were looking
Yeah, they're
for.
finding for they're looking for that tusk, which I don't know. I have no doubt this game is going to be intriguing
Yeah.
from a storytelling perspective. I do want to see if there's any difference in the gameplay, like for the most part, but I'm pretty sure
Because
it's
it's a
just gonna
lady.
be just new character.
I honestly can't wait to play as Chloe.
I mean, you're literally like you say that, but like it is two characters like specifically interacting throughout this entire game.
Correct.
So there could be new gameplay mechanics in there that tailor to that, but who knows? And that's
Hopefully
coming. That's
they
coming soon.
kiss.
That's August 22nd. What?
Really?
Hopefully they kiss.
I don't know. It was August 22nd. I guess I
Yeah,
missed
I hope
that.
they
Cool.
kissed. I do hope they kiss though.
Would be fine with that. Yeah. So the next game on the list was
Why are you shaking your head, Kristen?
DLC
We would be lying if we didn't say we hope they kiss. I'm sorry.
for Horizon Zero Dawn.
Which
It looked like
color
more
me
Horizon.
excited. I'll
Yeah.
play more Horizon.
But
Although
very
I-
very snowy.
Yeah.
Very snowy.
very snowy. I like snow. Snow's cool, but like it's my least favorite environment to explore in games. I don't know why. I don't know. Like there is definitely a snow area already in Horizon Zero Dawn.
Yeah.
And I remember wanting to get out of that area rather quickly. But and also I feel like maybe it might be a little too soon for DLC. Just
Yeah, that game's only been out for like
I just finished
It's not
spending
even,
60
like, 4
hours with
months?
it, and they already want me to go back in for more. And if not that I won't, but I hope
At the
that,
very least, they shouldn't be filling time at a press conference.
yeah. More importantly, and they didn't really give a sense for this in the trailer. Like if they're gonna do DLC, I expect new machine enemies,
Oh, I'm
maybe
sure
new
there will be.
weapons, some significant story content to add on to the already really great story they have. So, which I'm sure it'll probably deliver on all those things. But
It's a wave-based survival DLC. No.
what's next?
Days
Days
Gone.
Gone, man.
Days Gone.
Yep. And it looked pretty good.
It did look pretty good. I was a little hesitant at first, it seemed a little it seemed a little not button mashy,
Quick timey.
at first. Like some of the interactions he had, so he's riding his motorcycle through the road, and then he gets like knocked off by that wire that they set up.
Scripted.
Yeah. But when it started to get interesting was, well, first of all, the fact that it's open world and it's a open world zombie game. I think that automatically makes zombie games
It is
way more
open
interesting.
world, right?
Fairly certain.
I think they
Supposedly it
said
is.
that.
Yeah.
I haven't
Yeah.
seen anything that's made me think otherwise.
I mean, this was the most we've seen of him exploring, like
Yeah.
not just a single area.
Yeah.
The fact that he got on a motorcycle, it seems like he was maybe in like a base, like a facility where he maybe they're like kind of like holding up for a while. He got on his motorcycle, rode out because someone had gone missing, and then and so my assumption is, if he had taken a left instead of a right, he would have gone something completely different in this open world.
Yeah.
But he was following a path to get to where that guy was.
So, I'm excited. I think where this demo particularly got really interesting was when he came across that large group of zombies.
Yeah.
And that's the scary thing. Like, we've seen tons of zombies in tons of different kinds of games, but like, these zombies seem particularly scary because they travel in such large numbers and they're very fast. It's like, and like, they have like that mentality of like, they're gonna just try and get to whatever they're trying to eat.
Yeah.
And they're just gonna like trip over each other and just devour whatever's in their path to get to it, which is really
It's like a wave.
it's like a
like
wave
water.
of
Fluid dynamics, but with zombies.
yeah, which is really cool. But he actually snuck away from this group of zombies under a fence and then actually set a bomb on that fence to detonate it, which got their attention, and then it led all those zombies into that camp of dudes, which was really, so he was essentially using the zombies offensively. So.
But how scripted was that? And how systems driven is this thing? I want it to feel
That's
like
a good question.
a simulation of zombies in an open world. Not
Well, the question is,
set
did he
piece.
have to do that?
I mean, I didn't get the sense that he had to do that to progress
Yeah.
the story. He could have. I think he could have snuck around and taken those dudes out stealthily, or just gone in guns a-blazing, or
Yeah,
whoever knows what other kinds
or
of
what could have happened is
set a trap.
potentially when you start doing a gunfight with those people, the sound attracts the zombies.
But they
and
wouldn't
maybe
have been able to
come-
get to that
Maybe they
fence.
break it
Which
down,
we
they
saw that
overpower
happen.
it, maybe.
Yeah.
Or they tease that happening because he snuck up on that group of enemies. He laid a trap that a guy ran over and got hit. Well,
It was
all
a
that
bear
yelling
trap. It was a bear
attracted
trap.
other zombies that were way down on the hill.
Yeah.
And then you could eventually hear like gunfire and then silence.
Oh yeah, that's right. That
So-
was really cool. He was like he was walking over that cliff and he was looking down, and so that good sense of verticality. He was looking down on that bridge, and you just see a fucking huge wave of zombies
Yeah.
crossing the bridge, which was really creepy and kind of terrifying because you're just like, ooh. Like, I'm glad I'm not down. Like, I'm just imagining a lot of scenarios in this game where you're just seeing like a huge wave of zombies coming at you, and that just sense of like, I've got to run.
Yeah.
Yes.
That seems like it could be really cool. And of course, the demo ended. He saved his friend. He's in that like kind of like elevated tree fort thing. Saves his friend, and then they attract the attention of a bear. And then it looks like animals are all. And this is in this particular universe. Animals are also affected by whatever's creating the zombies. So
Yeah, at least that bear. I think also that wolf that
The wolf,
tried to chase
yeah, was
after.
chasing
Yeah.
him,
Because, I
yeah.
mean, he was keeping up with that fucking motorcycle.
it was kind of
It
So-
also looked a little ragged.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that's cool. I feel like there's
But, zombie bear
There
was
are
the
a ton
thing.
of zombie things out there, like pieces of media where they kind of imply that maybe animals, like zombies, don't care about animals, or animals aren't affected by the virus
Yeah.
in the same way. But this is a game where animals appear to become zombies just like humans do,
Yeah.
and that in and of itself seems like it kind of opens a lot of doors for.
Yeah.
Like it's a
That
little
game.
bit more Resident Evil.
Yeah,
Could
sure.
be, yeah.
I'm looking forward to it.
All right, since Crispy walked away, I guess we can skip this one unless he wants to join us.
What is it?
Monster Hunter World.
Oh yeah.
That looked interesting. It was pretty much just him interacting with one enemy for the most part. He kind of, the character, ran around the world all day. And then encountered that giant T-Rex monster with like the fucking schnoz
Yeah.
and
Oh,
the
that was-
fire breathing.
That was really alarming when that monster's fucking nose like popped out of its snout.
Kind of like a bullfrog.
Oh, it's
Monster Hunter designs have always been vaguely dinosaur-y, but flying dragon-y also. You
Yeah.
know. But I like Monster Hunter, and I'm like that. I like that they're finally taking kind of an ambitious step forward.
They also showed like the character like putting on Leaf like a disguise, like a ghillie suit thing that kind of hid him. They showed this whole fucking grappling hook system that they've added to the game, where he was using that to not just get around, but also during the combat scenario. He pinned. He was using. I don't know if he used that to pin the T-Rex down, because at one point it showed him covered.
It looked like he knocked over some trees.
Oh,
that
and
had
the vines
that kind of
tangled him up.
But he was
that.
using that to also climb around on the monster, which seems to be a big thing now. Is that you can grapple onto it, find weak points.
But the problem with that sequence was how it was shot, because there was a lot of quick cuts, and you could tell very easily that these were different encounters with the same beast.
Oh,
Were we seeing quick cuts, or were we seeing the problem with our feed?
No, I think it was.
The
It
thing
wasn't multiple
about
players,
the thing
I don't
about
think.
fighting monsters like that in Monster Hunter is it's supposed to be kind of a process.
Yeah.
It's not just like a 30-second swing your sword a few times and it's done. Like, you have to really work on it for a while, and the monster will move around the environment, like move into different areas, which before that meant you had to chase it through
loading
screens.
Oh,
Which got to be a little tedious. But now they're saying that this whole new world is
seamless.
That there's not going to be any loading screens separating the different areas, which is fucking gorgeous.
But the loading screens were definitely part of, like, this old school style of Monster Hunter thing where it's like you kind of learned where monsters would go on the map, and they were all kind of numbered, and you knew that, like,
Area 1 to Area 4 to Area 3.
But, hopefully they still retain that aspect of having a certain knowledge of the world and how
there'll
a monster
be like a map probably,
goes there.
Yeah.
They probably
But
will.
open.
The general story conceit seems to be that this is a brand new continent that's been discovered, and you're part of a larger expedition that is going there to tame the savage land. So I'm not sure how that's going to play into the actual mechanics of the game, or if that's just
I've never played a
little
single
bit of
one
color.
of them. What is like the overarching narrative for this series?
Well, narrative.
If there is one.
You are a hunter and you hunt monsters.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's pretty much it.
Okay.
Usually there's like a big bad monster terrorizing a village,
Yeah.
and you're kind of like building up your strength and your armor. Well, you level up your armor stuff and your weapons.
The
Just
whole thing is
because-
about gear. It's
Yeah,
about
gear.
like
Yeah.
killing bigger monsters so you can use their hide and bones to
Okay,
make better
because
armor.
again, I've never played it, and this is
The
like
appeal-
what the 8th game in the series at this point.
That's a
Well,
shit ton.
more than that.
There's
probably.
a shit ton.
The-
Not to mention, as many games as we've seen, there are games that haven't been released over here that are available in the Asian market.
Yeah, because it's huge over there.
But
Okay.
this, honestly, like, since the PS3 was a thing, like, I've been waiting for a true, like, full AAA console version of Monster Hunter.
Yeah.
You know?
All we've gotten are mobile games.
Yeah, the closest we've gotten before
on the Wii,
have
right?
been the Wii and the Wii U. Both had ports of previously 3DS exclusive titles.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, was, I played the Wii U Monster Hunter a little bit, and like was able to kind of get into a groove with it and kind of like it, but like
That was a port of the Wii version.
that was a port of the Wii version, which
I played, which is
right,
yeah.
which I mean, it's like it was fine, but it was on the Wii U, and that is such a like online like co-op focused game that having it be on a Nintendo console just
But, like,
didn't make any sense.
When the original Monster Hunter came out on PS2, it was I think a pretty visually striking game. I didn't really get that from this game.
No, yeah, it wasn't.
I don't think they showed enough.
It
I
looked
think-
very, very good for Monster Hunter,
Yeah.
but it wasn't.
Yeah.
But that's
Pushing
only
the hardware
Monster
to
Hunter
its
has
It
been
was
on
not
a
the most
powered
visually
console.
striking game in this
I
conference,
just
for sure.
hope that translates into like a more lush, larger environment.
So that's
lots
what I
of
was saying.
bigger,
Is like think
complex
of something
monsters.
like Xenoblade Chronicles X. That game does not look amazing, but because of that, you
But
have
it's
this
incredible.
giant open
Like,
world
yeah.
that is seamless, and there is so much to do.
Yeah.
I think that potentially could be why, is they created this. It's hard to get
It's a
into
sacrifice.
such
It's a
fine
trade.
details when you have a giant open world filled with creatures that are constantly moving around, and not just like a couple of creatures, a lot of them. So
Yeah.
I think it has potential.
For sure, for sure.
Um,
What's next?
So the next game is a remake.
Oh.
And I say remake because Sony did tweet a new Shadow of the Colossus remaster is coming to PS4.
Why would they call it a remaster, not a straight up remake?
That was their
listen.
words.
that game has like a really great art style.
It does.
It does.
And like polishing that up makes a game look really amazing. I don't think this is as much this remake. I love Shadow of the Colossus. Of
course,
Who doesn't?
I think we all do.
a remake or remaster of this is not as impactful as maybe like say a remake of Final Fantasy VII. This just looks like a prettier version of the one that came to PS3
Yeah.
versus the one that came to PS2. You know, it's just I'm not as excited. If it was 10 years from now and they're adding like 8 new Colossi, I'd be excited.
Yeah.
This looks like
It's also Blue Point, which is known for doing remasters. Not, I mean,
but good work.
Yeah, they do great
do
work.
quality
They
stuff
did the Metal
though.
Gear Solid collection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm worried that this. Well, I mean, I'm not even worried. It's an amazing game. I'm gonna get this version. I'll get any version of Shadow of the Colossus. But this is not setting my world on fire.
I don't think it is for anybody.
Like a Final Fantasy VII remake or like Resident Evil
No,
remake
and-
or like the Tomb Raider Anniversary.
But still, I think what we saw implies more than this was just a cleaning up of the same textures and shit that they were using. Like everything about that, like the grass looked more detailed, like the world looked more detailed, the Colossi themselves looked more detailed. Like everything.
Yeah.
This seemed. I mean, it seems like a one-for-one remake of the original
It seems
with
that
new
way.
assets.
I mean, we could see something different. We don't know.
Yeah.
But I mean, for now,
I wouldn't be surprised if they announced maybe 1 or 2 new Colossi that they threw into the mix.
That-
anyway,
yeah,
let's move on.
that's a hell of a thing,
Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite.
that looks like
Holy
fun.
shit, this looks bad.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
I'm sure
don't-
the game's gonna be fine. But
I'm only coming at it from a Marvel standpoint. I do not like what they've done with a lot of those characters.
well, as someone who typically leans more towards the Capcom side, Chun-Li looks far worse than anything that's happening on the Marvel side.
I don't know. Did you see that fucking Captain America? That looked like straight up Rob Liefeld shit.
Yeah.
Like that was ridiculous.
It's so
I
strange
fucking
because
hate the way they're doing Captain Marvel. Like, I don't know.
at the very least, what you can expect from Capcom fighters is some damn good-looking fighting games.
Dude,
Yeah.
you know what the
good
best
models, good animations. This looks just the models. And maybe some of the particle effects.
Oh my
and stuff.
God.
I think Marvel vs. Capcom 3 looks better than this game.
You know what the funniest thing about this trailer was? At the very, very end, when they had Rocket Raccoon, he was like, I forgot what he said. Something about,
Hey, Dante,
it's like,
can the ladies come
hey,
out
can
to
the
play?
ladies come out to play? Whatever. And I thought they were about to like drop like, by the way, just kidding. There's all these fucking ladies, and just start throwing out new like lady characters. And then fucking Dante just throws him Ebony and Ivory, his 2 guns,
Yeah.
and he's like, oh yeah. And I was like,
Kinda
that
good
was a
work,
big
baby.
fuck you. Like, oh my god.
It looks bad. Now look up Marvel vs. Capcom 3 Captain America.
What is this?
It's so much better looking.
Oh, yeah,
Like
then
seriously, it's
Captain
so
America
much
does not
better
look
looking.
good.
I don't know. I don't know why it looks kind of rough, but
All right, well, let's not spend too much time
yeah,
on it then.
I'm still gonna play it.
Next game, Call of Duty World War II.
I mean, I said it before. I mean, I'll probably play it just because, honestly, I've never played a Call of Duty game that took place in World War II. I know there's been a lot, but I personally have never played
Yeah,
one.
we
I
So,
haven't.
I was honestly expecting like a gameplay demonstration. They didn't do that. Like they've done
yeah.
every time.
I think Call
ever.
of Duty is still a big deal, but I don't think it's as big a deal as it once was. I mean, that...
Activision will try to say otherwise, but no, it's.
I mean,
correct.
It's still number 1 every year.
Yeah, I mean, it's still number 1. I'm saying it's a big deal, but I don't think it lights fires under people the same way it did back when they were demoing, like, Modern Warfare 2 and 3.
I think it's also
and-
because they have a lot more variety now. They don't
Yeah.
have to just play Call of Duty.
Yeah, not
There's
to
so
mention,
many other games you
I don't
can
think they
play.
had time. I think this is one of the
Yeah.
situations where, like, we're bringing all the games too. Check this out. You know, I just realized? I was really expected... One of the... Perhaps... Okay, so I know I'm kind of getting ahead of us. There's a few things that are noticeably missing from this conference. One thing that really surprised me, I was fully expecting Sony to drop something that was going to really try and undercut Microsoft's price announcement on the Scorpio.
Yeah,
They don't need to.
yeah, that's.
I don't think
I
they need
agree.
to,
They
but
don't-
like they could have like really cemented the fact that, by the way, like if they'd done like even like a $50 price drop on
maybe
the
they
Pro,
can't though. Maybe they can at the moment. Maybe they,
could
do need
whatever
Maybe that's why they have
Are you
the
looking
sale
at the
going on right
comparison?
now.
Yeah.
Chris,
Hmm?
did you look
Yeah,
at the
no,
comparison?
the Marvel vs. Capcom 3 cap is like classic. He's got the pouches on his belt, he's got the scales on his suit, like he's got the wings. It's fucking classic, and what they've done to him here is garbage.
Yeah.
But yeah, it looks like more Call of Duty.
Yeah, I mean, I'll play it, see what it's like. I've
this?
just to play
See
a
that, Brad?
Call of Duty World War II game. Who the fuck knows?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brad,
Next thing on the list. Thanks, Brad. You're bro.
Well, this is not comparing games.
Okay. Anyway, the next thing on the list is Skyrim VR.
Oh, I forgot they even showed that.
Yeah,
here.
they did.
I mean,
The whole VR block.
they showed that at
From
Bethesda
what I
too.
understand, it's Skyrim, but in VR.
Yeah.
Never mind. What I was thinking of was they showed Skyrim on the Switch at Bethesda.
Oh, correct.
So
yeah.
now I didn't even realize. Okay, so yeah, this is a different thing.
Mm-hmm.
How many Skyrims do we have now? We have the definitive edition. We have the Switch edition, and now we have the VR edition.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently these
And then
like
no.
this and Fallout in VR are apparently full price.
Yeah.
games.
Oh, yes.
Individual releases. Yeah.
That's
Right.
frustrating.
Why did we have to have a segment of this press conference devoted to a game that's 6 years old at this point? Almost 6 years old.
Because it makes them so much money.
Yeah. Makes them a lot of money.
You gotta realize.
I would argue
man.
that Fallout would bring more money if they would
Well,
have talked about that.
Not to mention Fallout is already being.
Skyrim's still got its legs. It is still
Skyrim
going.
is
Yeah.
a fucking
I think the
force.
modding community has been keeping it alive, and then they keep adding. You know, kind of going back to Bethesda, they added mods on consoles. Those mods aren't free. Like you have to
Pay
like
for those things.
yeah, like it's.
But there's a reason why you have to pay for it. They
Yeah.
actually put quality control into it.
Well, correct. I understand that, but I'm just saying, like it makes them money. So why would they stop?
Yeah.
When the game stops making them boatloads of money, they'll probably move on to something else. But it's almost like it's a cost benefit analysis. If we put $50,000 here and get a $200,000 return, why not? As opposed to spending like $300,000 working on a new game that will take a while to get its legs off, could potentially be bad. Like why not? As long as that money's flowing, keep that rake moving.
That's
like
the
don't stop.
Capcom motto these
Yeah.
days.
But anyway, moving on. Next on the list was Starchild.
Next.
So-
Exactly. Yeah, that was the one that none of us really knew what was going on, and
Yeah.
and I barely remember it. No, that was the the one I compared to Bit Trip Runner. The
Yes.
side scrolling. I remembered.
big
We don't really
robot
know.
at the
It was a strange
That
comparison.
one
Yeah, I
you
know.
fooled me about because I
Yeah.
didn't fucking know.
No, it was a character, and it was this. Oh, sorry. So this next section, starting from Skyrim, this is gonna be a bunch of VR games. So this one is also VR, but it was a side-scrolling, character kind of running around.
Yeah, but sometimes that sort of perspective in a VR
I'm
game
not saying
can
it's
be
bad. I'm just
kinda
saying
cool.
we don't really know anything about this.
If
It
they
didn't
do
show a
interesting
whole
things.
lot.
Yeah.
I remember you played that 3D platformer demo with the PSVR.
Oh yeah.
Like that is surprisingly effective.
I mean, it doesn't make that much sense on paper when you hear
But
about
when
it,
you
but like
see
when you
it-
see it, it's so fucking cool. Especially when especially the way it detaches you from the character and kind of lets you like look around the environment on your own and be like, oh look, there's something hidden up
Yeah.
there, and then send your character to go get it. Like that's great.
Next on the list is The Inpatient.
All right.
Ooh.
Supermassive Games.
Yep.
Our friends who made
What
Until
might
Dawn.
what might be considered a follow up to
I'm
Until
sorry,
Dawn.
I had to think for a second. Until Dawn. What?
I said what might be considered
I think this is
some sort of spiritual follow up to
I think
Yeah,
Until Dawn.
I
yeah.
think we were kind of hoping for just like Until Dawn as
the title.
the
Yeah.
title for each of
Well,
these games.
This is
but-
why I don't think this is that. Because, first of all, I thought it was going to be a sequel to Until Dawn because it looked like they were trying to capture that sense of, like, your character talking to... What?
A doctor? What?
Lao Kung Pao says it's an Until Dawn prequel?
What if this is like a secret prequel? Like they don't want you to know it's related to Until Dawn yet, and then the fucking weird looking dude from Mr. Robot pops up at the end going,
here's-
I'm weird.
I'm weird. I mean, they were going for the whole, it takes place in a sanitarium. You're talking to a doctor, just like kind of like what was happening periodically throughout Until Dawn. But to me, still, the key element of Until Dawn was a group of characters. You're jumping around, playing different characters, making decisions that kind of steer their story.
Yeah.
This seemed more like a first-person, hallucinogenic, like I'm in a sanitarium
It's
and
hard
I'm
to
trying
tell
to
what
escape
it was,
kind of thing.
really, but
It-
yeah.
If that's what you're looking for, Nick, it seems more like Hidden Agenda is more of a
Yeah,
direct
which is-
follow up to Until Dawn.
Which is what they were showing at the beginning of in the pre-show for Sony, which actually
We'll get to that. We'll get to
Yeah.
that stuff. Yeah.
Anyways, I think Inpatient looks cool. I'm not
It's
sure
Until Dawn in a sanitarium. We don't really know too much about it yet. They didn't show a whole lot, but VR though, so that should
Yeah.
be
Which is
interesting.
It's good, like I feel like this is the kind of the developer that should be putting, like there's a lot of games out there that probably should be going VR. Like what's the horror game that came out recently?
Layers of Fear.
Layers of Fear.
No. The fucking one you played.
Resident Evil 7.
No. The Outlast. Outlast.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
I feel like that's
What was
a
that
game.
Outlast game? What was
I feel
that
like
one?
that game should have been VR.
It could have been.
I feel like these are the developers that need to be doing full games but in VR,
Plus,
like Resident Evil 7.
Rush of Blood was
Blood's pretty
surprisingly good
that was
VR
really
game.
good.
Yeah.
All right,
For
moving
sure.
on, and the game everyone else is excited for, Monsters of the Deep, Final Fantasy 15
Yes.
VR.
No.
I can finally get into the world of Final Fantasy 15 because it's just fishing.
So it's just a fishing simulator
Yeah,
in VR.
I didn't even
But
fish in the regular game.
you start catching fish and then you're catching fish monsters
Ooh,
or monster fish,
monster
however you want to
fish.
classify it.
All right, move on. Next game, Bravo Team.
That's
Also-
another Supermassive game.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Generic shooting
when
game?
they showed Bravo Team, which was another Supermassive game, it
Yep.
made me a little worried about Impatient.
Because of how many Supermassive
Like,
games have been
Until
announced.
Dawn was great. It was polished.
Those have to
It was
be-
a well-made game, and now they seem a little spread thin.
It doesn't have to be different teams, right?
I mean,
Well,
how big could that They're not.
They are
I bet they made a
Supermassive.
lot of money.
I was trying to stop you before you made that joke, but
I'd have to imagine they have more people working for them now
There
than
are-
they did when they were working on Until Dawn.
Supermassive is now working on Impatient, Bravo Team, and Hidden Agenda. 3 different games.
Yeah.
When I would much rather have them, maybe if I had to pick one of those 3, I might actually pick Hidden Agenda, to be honest. But,
Potentially.
That
yeah.
looks really
like,
interesting.
but to like kind of make that a more fleshed out.
Before
thing.
I do want to talk. But I want to talk about one more game just in the VR section. There's one more VR game, Moss,
Yeah.
with the little mouse with the sword kind of
Which
running
looked like
around.
kind of like
Secret
a
in them.
Yeah, Secret of
yeah,
a little bit. I mean, we don't really
atmosphere.
know. It was
Real.
maybe 3D kind of exploration, but I don't know. The weird thing was they showed what seemed like the player character, like you were over some water and you looked down, and it almost looked like No Face from Spirited Away.
Yeah.
Like a weird mask, and it seemed like you were interacting with the mouse as he was fighting enemies. I don't know if it's going to be like you helping the mouse go around, or I don't know if you're actually controlling the mouse.
maybe you're
Like,
actually
I don't know. Like,
maybe you're controlling the one character through their eyes as with the VR helmet, but also controlling the mouse.
maybe.
with the
I
controller.
would hope so because like we were saying before, these third person kind of more. I don't know that it's going to be a strict platformer, but like platform like games
Adventure
with that VR element, like that could be really fucking cool, especially if they're letting you move independently in that environment without the character.
I'm feeling like it's a 2-parter game. You have the mouse, which is meant really for combat and progressing, and you have the player where you're interacting with the environment and solving puzzles, allowing the mouse to
It might
progress.
be a situation where you're.
I was
switching
really
back and
hoping
forth.
you would help with combat. Like, like you could like maybe throw things or something at like those things he's fighting, or like pick up a character and like toss him against a wall.
I want a new Boom Blocks in VR.
That would be
that
cool.
would be
Blocks
good.
is so good.
So before we move on, I wanted to, because we kind of started talking about, we probably should have started with the pre-show stuff.
Yeah.
So
They announced some
let's
stuff.
No, they did. So I don't know if Knack 2 was in the pre-show.
No,
or
it
if it
wasn't.
was.
Oh, was it?
No, so they
I
did.
think we missed that
We
part.
missed like the first bit. There is a trailer out there, I know. So I think Knack 2, but I mean,
Word on the street is maybe
it looks pretty good.
not worth
I mean,
ignoring.
Yeah.
I saw a GIF earlier.
Well, I
and it
bet
looked
that-
like fucking God of War.
We'll
I
have
bet
to look
that's-
into it.
I bet that's on the show floor.
Yeah. Undertale is coming to PS4.
Yeah, that's a weird thing, but I
with
understand
like a
why
huge
they did it.
collector's edition
Well, they
that's
did
going to
it
make them a
because-
lot of money.
Yeah.
There's some weird implications for that too.
How do you mean?
We can't really get into it, but there's some stuff that the game does towards the end that it's like it doesn't make sense on a console.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's true. I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
So moving on, Tropico 6.
I look forward to it.
It looks like more Tropico.
Yeah.
I mean, they didn't show any gameplay.
but they implied it's a VR title.
From my
Did
understanding,
they though?
that
I don't know
was-
if they actually did. They showed it right after showing a bunch of VR, but I don't know if they didn't show any VR after that. So I think that might have actually been the first non-VR game.
I think they screwed up their
Yeah,
ordering. of
they
stuff.
I think they did too.
But like from what I understand, like I don't think the Tropico series is supposed to be very good.
But
I always hear people ragging
in
on it.
regards to VR, they showed Super Hot VR, which
Yeah.
looked fucking amazing.
Yes.
Like I've only played a little bit of Super Hot, and I definitely enjoyed it, and I've always meant to play more of it. But if that comes to PlayStation VR, like I might want to get that and play
Oh,
it
yeah.
because
No,
that looks
I
really
fully
good.
intend to
I mean,
as well.
just the way he was interacting, because you just have so much more control. You know, throwing the guns and throwing things and catching
It will require
things.
two
And,
moves.
you know,
dual-
so
the
that's the
dual
thing. You'll need
wielding and
probably
everything.
dual move controllers to get the best experience.
Yeah.
But I'm excited for that.
Bullets out of midair.
Yeah, because you have so much control. He was shooting the bullets that instead of dodging them, just shooting them. That's pretty exciting stuff. So then, yeah, we had already briefly mentioned Hidden Agenda.
Yeah.
Another Supermassive Games game, but a little bit different. I read a little bit of
first of
stuff
all-
online about it, and
First
it
of all,
doesn't.
this is part of a collection of games.
Correct.
So that's also kind of implying this is not going to be like a really
Well, so I think it's going to be different from a game in the sense that it's more of a, like, almost, I don't want to say Telltale, but more of a Telltale style where you are watching it play out. So
Yeah.
I kind of read a little bit
But
on
I also
it.
think it's going to be short.
No, I think it's going to be short, and it's not going to be as interactive. I don't think anyone's really going to be using controllers with this. I don't think you're controlling
I think
characters.
the whole purpose of this collection was all the games are controlled via an app on your phone.
Yeah, it's a story-driven game, and you play with your friends, I guess,
Yeah.
maybe 3 other people, and you kind of vote on what you want to happen.
So it's like playing Until Dawn when a turning point comes and a
Well, the
decision
Telltale
has to be
games do
made.
that. The Telltale games
yeah.
currently do that.
What is that
But-
called? Light something?
but you put your-
something play
Link or
Link play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's cool because all that voting is now being done through people's phones, so you can kind of like.
And,
like-
well, and implied there was some stuff that was going to be secretive. Like
Yeah,
it seemed
like
like some of the stuff was going to be very
players
open.
themselves can
That's
have
the cool
a
part.
hidden
Yeah.
agenda.
But what
that
they had
the other
also
players aren't
mentioned
aware
is
of.
similar to Until Dawn. Any character can die. Any character can survive the whole game. So it's
Yeah.
all up to the decisions that you make. Well, that's
And from a
kinda-
like design perspective, it looked more like what I expected from a sequel to Until Dawn. Like
Yeah,
the
and
way
so
the
this
presentation.
It's a you play the role of like there's I think a detective, and you're kind of discovering some. You're going after a murderer.
Yeah, who
The
leaves
trapper.
The trapper, yeah.
who leaves like traps that are supposed to
Take
kill
out first responders.
First responders.
He murders people and then booby traps the bodies.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, we thought this was like some kind of David Cage kind of Quantic Dream game at first.
Until I
Kinda
saw
looked like
that
well,
it has
Until Dawn is a
Supermassive.
similar type
Yeah,
of game
that-
to that.
Yeah. Well, very much in line with what they're doing. It also seemed really cool from a gameplay perspective. It's just kind of a shame because I don't think it's going to be a very. I can see this being like a quick 2 or 3 hour thing that you do with your friends.
There's
part of this collection.
there was another game that was part of that collection that's not on this list. I can't remember what it was called. That was the one where it was like more of a party game. That's
Yeah.
like
That's
Jackbox.
You or that's it or something. That's is in the name.
Yeah, that's it or something like that. So that's
That's
you maybe.
it.
Kind of Jackboxy
Yeah,
stuff.
so Jackboxy, kind of a little more, oh, like which person out of your group do you think would be the most likely to do this?
Dude,
And,
so
like-
one of the questions they showed on the screen was, which person in your group do you think is more likely to make out with a stranger at a party, which could be really awkward to
Yeah.
play with married couples?
yeah.
That's
Or-
the point.
It just
I'm
says
being
most
honest.
likely. It doesn't say you would. It just
I
says most
mean-
likely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It depends. It
Um,
depends on how serious.
But it showed a couple
lady
other
is.
goofy things like, oh, here's a person, draw them as if they were like a policeman or something, and like it seems like it could be a fun game to play
Yeah.
with friends.
looks like it'd be fun party game.
Yeah. And then Matterfall was the other one they showed during the
Which was Matterfall?
That was the kind of
Yeah,
side
side
scrolling
Platformer where they were
platforming.
like zapping in
Yeah,
platforms.
that looked kind
and
of cool.
shit.
Oh.
Yeah.
I don't know what else we've seen it before a little
Yeah.
bit. Like it looks interesting.
Gotcha.
All right, so moving on down the list, God of War.
Okay. Wow.
It looked pretty good.
God of War blew me away last year, and it's still looking really fucking fantastic here. I think we got to see more of the interaction between Kratos and his son here, and kind of the dynamic between those two characters. And it seems to me kind of like maybe the son doesn't quite know about Kratos' past and everything that happened there.
Well, I'm also interested in the fact that it seemed like the son Maybe he had some abilities that Kratos didn't have. Like, I don't know, he was like, there was that giant beast that he was like translating his language, and like Kratos had mentioned some stuff to the kid. Like, I can't remember. Like, we'd have to watch the trailer again.
Well, he used the kid in combat last time, didn't he?
He did. He did.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, kind of. He was trying to train him in the last video, and in this, he at one point he gave him like a blade, and like the kid jumped in almost like Ellie from The Last of Us, like randomly started stabbing a dude and stuff like that.
Shot an arrow and the arrow caused lightning to strike an enemy.
Yeah. So I mean, the combat, a lot of combat in this trailer, and it looked pretty good. It showed Kratos using, his axe almost like a boomerang-esque, like throwing it, and like
it's like Thor's hammer. Like he'll
kind
throw
of,
it
yeah.
and it just comes right back to his hand.
Yeah. Well, the weird thing is in the trailer they showed him throwing it and it not coming back for a while.
And there was that implication that maybe he's losing his power.
Yeah. So that's
like that.
kind of.
No, that was.
Maybe we need to look at this knack too.
That was.
All right, we'll look it
that
up.
was part of the whole thing at the end when that giant serpent rose up and gave him his axe back.
That's cool, right?
That's
Yeah.
what it was.
And that's what I'm saying. It started talking to them. At first, you thought it was going to be, something like that. You thought it was going to be a big combat scenario, but it wasn't. So it's kind of like, what? They showed lots of fighting. Not too much of the world.
No, we still don't have a really firm idea of how this world is structured.
Yeah. But they did show him interacting with some other characters.
Yeah.
That
was one of them his wife?
I don't think so. Because she mentioned.
I'm assuming this is not the son that was murdered, which
probably not
spurred the entire events of the original
not.
trilogy. So did he take a new wife and have a new kid?
So
and that's kind of what this is.
When a man loves a woman.
I know. It's, thanks.
Also,
Nolan.
they haven't specifically come out and said that this kid is Kratos' son.
So that's the other thing. So hold on.
That's the thing.
He did call him boy.
He called him boy.
There was that one scene where the lady was like, he needs his father, and she puts her hand on his hand.
Yeah. So, I don't know. Like, it could this.
See, I feel like the other way. I feel like this. I'm just grasping here, but I think the kid is basically Thor. And it's your job to escort Thor to his father.
Odin. Or it could be. Oh yeah, I mean that's a
I
possibility.
think it's basically God of War Last of Us.
I also think they are setting up.
Thor looks kind of like
I think they are setting up this kid to be the new hero of God of War, new protagonist. Which honestly, that's a really cool way to transition to a new character, a new world.
Roland Hungus in chat brings up a good point. I think the camera's a little close for God of War.
But they're going for like a new.
I know they are. It's just it's very different from what I'm used to in a God of War game.
For sure.
Like, it's right over the shoulder. No,
it's no longer really a character action game.
Correct. And I haven't played it yet, so maybe when I get my hands on it, it'll feel better.
I hope it's playable at the show floor, but
maybe. We'll see.
I don't think it's going to be. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, I think you might be wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, it looked good when we saw it last year.
It did look good.
I'm going to assume it's playable behind closed doors.
Well, we'll see. We'll see what we can.
It's due out next year.
Yeah, early next year. So we'll see what we can find.
Sony.
Yeah. So I mean, Destiny 2, whatever. We can move on. No.
Well, what did they show? I remember you weren't too impressed by it.
Well, they just haven't. They haven't shown anything that isn't particularly.
They aren't really showing
new
extended gameplay.
I thought they're showing a lot more story.
They're setting up a lot of the story, which we've already been getting a lot of.
Yeah. But that's good, right? I mean, isn't that one of the things people kind of want?
It is good. But
anything else?
I don't like. I mean, the story. I don't. I want to see what's new about. I want to see what's new about the world structure, the UI, like the stuff that I'm gonna be fucking dealing with when I play the game. You know what I mean?
Sling tells me they're gonna probably have like a big.
What they showed was a bunch of guardians running around, jumping around, shooting people. Which I mean, that's not new. They've got a more focused kind of threat with a big bad, like a singular big bad. Now that's cool. That's definitely a step in the right direction, but there's not enough for me to really get singularly hyped.
From what I could gather, I was listening to a podcast that was talking about the E3 Judges Week or whatever, and I think they were talking about Destiny 2 being a big focus of that. So they might actually have that playable at the show floor, and they might have like a big booth for it. So
okay,
we'll see. We will see.
So the next game, they actually spent quite a bit of time on Detroit Becoming Human.
Yeah.
They spent a decent amount of chunk.
Which I was really surprised it did not end with a release date. I thought this was the first really in-depth look at the game. We finally got to see kind of what the game is. I finally feel like I have a better understanding of what this game is about. and then they didn't end with.
They didn't
even say like a year. They just said nothing. It just the trailer ended. It was. I like the thing that kind of showed how you make decisions, in like a moment of, tension. Like you. The implication here is that you are playing the leader of.
We don't know.
One of the
Because hold on.
characters
So
you play.
the first time we saw this, we played it. It was a different character. It
It's
was
an
a
android
detective.
revolution.
Yeah.
First of all.
Well, so when we saw last year, you were a detective. Trying to diffuse a situation using choices and words and information you had previously learned. Now, in this trailer, they briefly showed that character. But within a second and a half, they just flashed at him.
Yeah.
So this trailer mainly focused on a different character. I assume you will also be playing, which is I forget his name, but yeah, apparently he's leading like an android revolution
Against humans.
against the humans. Yes, and so he's every time it seems like he comes into contact with an android, he can kind of awaken
He
their
can kind of release them from
their consciousness, their kind
Yeah.
of decisions, and they can become free, if you
They
will.
can become sentient.
But
Yeah.
I'm assuming like any game in this from this developer, you're probably gonna be playing as multiple characters.
Yeah.
Yeah, perspectives.
I mean, the first trailer they showed of the game you were playing is that other android that was kind of like working for the police.
Mm-hmm.
And they show him in this new trailer as well, just briefly.
I literally just said that, Chris Davis. Like
I'm
almost
just
that
building on
exact.
what you said.
That was
Okay.
a short trailer. The way they structure the trailer kind of implies that they're hitting the main three characters that we will be.
Yeah,
Yeah.
at least. Yeah, at least
And I
three.
think, I think all that looked really cool. I liked how they showed trying to make a decision how to handle a situation. Like they were being approached by, was it a police officer?
Yeah,
or whatever?
cops
and,
were coming
and they
in.
were like, how
Yeah.
do we? And it showed like kind of an outline. Like it looked to the left, you could see like an outline of like two people like kind of kissing,
Embracing.
So like oh well, we can come over here and pretend like we're just a couple, showing affection for each other. Or they look to the right and you can see like
Well, there's a middle one where it's like almost like attack. I think. Just
Yeah.
like go on the offensive.
Yeah.
And then the one on the
But
right.
instead of showing like a button prompt or whatever,
Yeah.
and like
Yeah.
writing words, it was like you can kind of see an outline of what you're going to be doing, and allows you to kind of make the decisions.
yeah, the other one I think was like hiding
really cool.
was the last one.
Yeah.
just kind of hide.
which
from
is the
them.
one they took, and everyone
Yeah.
was like, "Make out, make out, make
Yeah.
out," and they didn't go for it.
What's up?
Oh, I don't have something about Detroit. But
Okay. But yeah, no, so it looks very interesting. They spent a lot of time with that character and kind of their... I don't know, I don't want to say it seemed open, but I mean, it showed a lot of him, like, recruiting androids and them, like, graffitiing stuff and setting up, like, traps and, like, blowing up stuff and, like, this big, kind of big deal.
Yeah, and I think as far as like story content goes, this might be one of the more intriguing ones that David Cage has approached. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm really bummed that they didn't at least mention a
Any
general
kind of release schedule,
window at
yeah.
all. But hey, what can you do?
And the final game that they closed their conference with...
Oh, we're already there?
Yeah.
Was Detroit the last one before that?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Was Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
It looked fucking good. So I will get one complaint out of the way. I wasn't a fan of the UI. I'll get that out of the way early. But
my
all right,
one
moving on.
complaint is that it was really heavy on QTE shit.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I guess is kind of
But-
to be expected.
I think it's going to be very frequent during like set PC moments
That's
for the
what I was
story.
Yeah. I think it's just the moment they
But
chose to
I feel like
show.
that's kind of the only way you can do those kinds of set pieces.
Well, for sure. For sure.
I would rather have them with QuickTime events than not have
But I
them
mean,
at all.
as far as like hooking me as a player into really wanting to play your game, like show me a depth of systems and mechanics
Yeah.
and stuff like that. Don't show me Spider-Man doing cool stuff while I'm hitting X and right trigger and
But I will say
you know
this:
what I
like
mean?
that whole sequence from like the build up where he's like kind of spying on those
Infiltrating,
dudes and infiltrating their.
Yeah, very
The-
Batman Arkham.
I know, very Batman Arkham, but like I was just gonna say, like the whole from start to finish of this demo, and like the number of crazy, like all the crazy shit that transpires, gave me a real like I was feeling like the same like exhilaration I felt the first time I saw Spider-Man 2 and like that whole sequence on the train.
Yeah.
Like I was like, oh shit, that was a fucking amazing just action set piece.
And
sequence.
they really handle combat well, just like using yourself, the way Spider-Man moves around the enemies,
They
the way he
nailed that.
uses his spidey sense, the way he interacts with the environment and using, grabbing things with the web and hitting enemies with it.
And they slow it down just enough that it looks like it's going to be pretty intuitive to like make split-second decisions and
Yeah.
keep it
Well,
looking flashy.
kind of
You
like
get the whole spider sense.
Yeah.
like like wrapping up dudes in like webs and like kind of.
Oh, when he
we
when he
should circle
pulled that
back
guy
to
up
that
and
in
was
a
doing the
second,
whole like wrapping up like a fucking like fly, that was cool.
Yeah.
I mean, it in a way it did really look like Arkham. In a way.
Yeah.
It did.
But what were you
Which
gonna
is
say?
great. Well, I was gonna say that we haven't mentioned this yet, but at the end of the trailer, they tease the presence of Miles Morales.
Yes.
They show him there. What I'm taking away from this, and what I think would be a good idea for the game, is to give you the option, or at least during certain story moments, to switch between Peter Parker and Miles Morales, because they are both Spider-Man, but they're not the same Spider-Man.
Correct.
They do have different abilities. They do act different.
But do they exist in the same universe?
They do now. After Miles' universe was destroyed, they do.
Oh.
Yeah, the comic books for you. But Miles was bit by a radioactive spider, not the same one that bit Peter, and it kind of affected him a little differently. He does have like the super strength, wall clinging, and stuff that Peter has. He does have spider senses, but his spider senses aren't quite as good as Peter's are. So if they're mechanically like tying a lot of like, or if they're tying a lot of these game mechanics into like the lore of spider sense, maybe you won't have that much freedom doing that kind of stuff as Miles. You know what I'm saying?
What does he do
But
that's
Miles
cooler?
does have abilities like he can do this camouflage thing where he can just like blend into the environment, his like suit and everything. And he also does these little he can. I think they're called like venom blasts or something. He can basically like touch people and like sting them and like stun them, and he can conduct that through different surfaces, and he can like kind of shoot them and stuff like that.
Huh.
So it wouldn't just be like a straight reskin of him and Spider-Man. The other reason you guys were all saying like, oh well, I think you're just playing as Miles in this. The reason why I don't think that is because the costume is very much Peter's costume, just with the white spider on it, you know?
Yeah.
But under it, it's still the red over the blue. Miles' costume, very different. It's black and red and has more of like this open web pattern to it. So
I mean, I'm totally down, especially if that means a wider variety of gameplay.
To add to that, I don't care. I'm just saying I'm excited either way. If they go either
If they
route, I'm
don't,
still excited.
But it is real like it's been kind of a thing in the fandom about whether like what place Miles has in the story. You know, there are some people who are like, he's not my Spider-Man, you know, shit like that. But people have been saying for a long time, like, you know,
I have
like,
a feeling I know who's
like-
saying not my Spider-Man.
yeah. I mean, you know, it has been suggested that maybe we should open this up a little bit, and you know, if you're gonna do 9,000 Spider-Man remakes over and over and over again, maybe give Miles a chance. You know,
Yeah.
the movies haven't done that yet, but the game is kind of like saying, hey, you know, there's plenty of room. You know?
So it also confirmed in this demo that the villain, or at least one of the major villains of the game, is
Very interesting choice too, Mr. Negative.
Mr. Negative, which is a character I
Which is
don't know anything
great.
about, but it looks
Which is
cool.
great. Mr. Negative is a newer character. I mean, he's got this weird like negative powers. I don't even
I think it's really cool to see
really
them
know
pulling,
the full extent of
pulling
that.
a
but-
lesser known
exactly,
villain.
and that's what I was complaining about with Marvel vs. Capcom.
I do hope
Infinite
some of
too,
those. I do
is
hope they do have. I
just
hope there are
because-
appearances from some other villains.
just because a character doesn't have the notoriety or the popularity because they haven't been around for 40 fucking years. Like Mr. Negative is maybe at this point 10 years old or something like that.
Yeah.
Well, not even. Like he's probably more like 5 or 6. But that doesn't mean that there aren't great characters to be had. And if you mine that material and you put it out there in front of people, they will probably like it, you know?
Yeah.
Just have the balls to fucking not have him fight Venom again for the 9,000th time. Or not have him fight the Green Goblin or fucking, you know, Dr. Octopus or something. I agree. I do hope that those villains show up, and the trailer did
Mysterio.
feature the presence of
Wilson
Fisk, which, you know, of course... But
Yeah.
he's
Mr.
classic,
Negative first appeared in 2007.
2007. Oh, so it was 10.
So 10
Okay.
years, yeah.
Yeah. What's his major ability, or like what's his thing?
He like
Superhuman
turns
strength
negative,
and reflexes,
like, yeah.
mental domination, healing touch, access to advanced technology, technology and secret laboratories, ability to switch between reversed and regular appearance and change up knives and swords with black, charge up knives and swords with
Yeah,
black
it's kind
electrical
of, it's kind
energy.
of this like
So
esoteric,
lots of
weird,
stuff.
like power field that he can kind of generate.
Yeah.
And you notice too, like in the comic, that was kind of the cool set piece moment where like Mr. Negative would be all plain and he's wearing a black suit, white shirt, and then he like turns negative and everything inverts on him. Like,
Yeah.
it's kind of cool. I am so fucking glad that they're not just featuring him, but that it seems like they're making him the big bad. Like,
Yeah.
that's exactly what these superhero games need to be doing. They don't need to do the fucking Joker in 10,000 Batman games. They don't need to do Venom in 10,000 Spider-Man games. Like, show us something else, you know?
Yeah, I do hope we see some of those more recognizable villains, though. I mean,
Rhino.
it is. I mean,
It wouldn't. No, honestly, I wouldn't feel like horrible if like you're just web slinging around the city and you see Rhino like turning you. God damn it, okay, and you
Yeah.
wrap him up in like 15, 20 seconds.
Yeah.
Or like you might have the
Scorpion.
the fucking Mysterio period.
Arkham does
Shocker,
a good job of
like,
having a bunch of different villains. Even
Yeah.
if Joker is kind of ruining everything.
Well, I mean, he's not ruining everything, and Arkham, you're right, does do a fantastic job of stacking the cast. But give somebody else a chance to shine.
Yeah.
You know, like
Mysterio.
I mean, they have
Yeah.
at the very least, even if Mr. Negative is not the main villain, they are definitely upfront demonstrating their willingness to delve into other elements of the rogue
they're
gallery.
not just
like,
chasing movie money,
they've-
basically. You know,
Miles Morales
yeah.
hadn't been done before. Mr. Negative hadn't been done before. Even if we do see fucking Shocker and Vulture or Rhino
that'd be
or
great.
even Venom,
I
like who the
wouldn't-
fuck, like if any of those. Like, as long as we're doing something, like Mysterio is another one. Like, I don't think we've seen that.
He was in
even-
two.
He
Hey,
was in two, yeah.
Overall, what did y'all think of Sony?
I think it was a solid conference.
Solid
I
conference.
liked
was
it.
good.
I liked it.
We're all a little bummed.
I think it was still my favorite conference
Yeah.
of all the ones I saw.
Nothing there that blew us away.
But
I come to
it
E3.
didn't really light my world on
I
fire.
come to E3 conferences for surprises.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and
This one
Yeah.
had very little of that.
Yeah.
That
In
is
the
true.
past few years have been the conferences of dreams or whatever.
Sure.
And this
sure.
is not quite
I
that.
do think
I
I think there are a lot
I
of
mean,
people
there
who
just
are.
might have been a huge rush of spoilers this year.
I think there are a lot of
Or,
people
leaks, I should say.
Yeah.
There are going to be a lot of people who feel negatively about the lack of The Last of Us 2.
Don't. Why?
I mean, that's
Like,
people
why?
that's
Chat. I've been
obviously
watching people in
sorry,
chat who are
hold on.
complaining
Sorry,
about it.
anybody in chat who's you're a doofus. The Last of Us 2 was just announced. Like, why are you expecting the world?
I think a lot of people were going into this with the expectation that Last of Us 2 was going to be their
if it was
finisher,
there, I wouldn't
which,
have been
honestly,
disappointed. Like, I wouldn't
No,
have
of
been. But I
course
mean,
not.
like,
and I think all of us were kind of secretly hoping that was going to happen. But I don't think that was ever a reasonable expectation.
all we have seen is a cinematic trailer. That is
Yeah.
all. We haven't even seen gameplay. Like this game is not that.
And I don't
far
think we're going to have
along.
gameplay for at least another year.
But you know what an
That's-
exciting E3 is?
Hmm.
When think about all the stuff we saw. The E3 where God of War, Days Gone, Spider-Man,
Horizon.
the new Uncharted,
Mhm.
like when all that was announced,
Mhm.
that's excitement. We just saw all that stuff
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
nothing new. So
Well,
Yeah,
I think the
but
problem. I think the problem was last year they had a bunch of new stuff. But the problem is they showed it so early, it's still not out, and they don't have a whole lot of new stuff extra yet. So they still have to just show more of it.
Yeah.
Like that's the problem when you have all the new stuff all kind of coincides in the same time span. You
Roland
can't.
brings up a good point.
Yeah.
Said those days gone.
Yep, those days are gone. I think next year will probably be a lot bigger.
Yeah.
I think you
Yeah.
can't expect every year to be fucking massive and amazing. It just otherwise there'd be too many games.
But there
Like,
are still a
already too many games.
ton of games that are going to be playable tomorrow and throughout the week that we're going to be able to play
And
with
that
for the
Nintendo's
first
gonna
time.
announce-
Nintendo
And
tomorrow morning.
Nintendo is
don't
first thing in the
know
morning.
What's gonna happen?
Yeah.
Like,
So we still have one last conference to go. We'll be live commentating Nintendo first thing tomorrow morning, and of course we'll talk about that for tomorrow night's podcast. In addition to all the stuff we're actually going to be playing at the show tomorrow.
Yep.
I think that's good. I think we can go ahead and kind of wrap it up here.
Yeah.
That concludes our Day Zero podcast. Tune in tomorrow. We'll be I think we'll be hosting some stuff from E3 while we're at the actual show floor, and then tomorrow night we'll be doing our podcast. Should be a good show, and hopefully we'll be able to get our hands on plenty of stuff to talk about. And I'm crossing my fingers that Nintendo's got some cool shit to show in 30 minutes. Anything else y'all want to say before we wrap it up?
No.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening. I will kind of say that if you're in the LA area, we are doing a community meetup on Thursday night at Button Mash LA, which is a cool little arcade/cafe in the LA area. So if you live in the area and you want to come hang out, we'd love to see you. There's details about that on the site at 4playernetwork.com. Otherwise, good night, and hopefully you'll join us tomorrow. Peace out.